Okay. Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not.
Wait.
Yeah,
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at you.
They don't want it.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay. Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Still in the stars with the show, and till then his half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm alive by the motor. No proof. Like I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him. And if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what is a star? Like another city, the driver's side floor. Gucci a large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. 8, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever and cute as can be. You can watch us on YouTube and view for free. Ay. This one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Morning, everybody. Hey, Leroy.
Morning.
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. Got some. Let me tell you something. Y'all always hear me talk about bad customer service.
Yes, sir.
I dropped my car off this morning
Ooh.
to get serviced.
Yeah.
I have my car.
Oh. Now that's service.
That is what?
Woo.
What?
What, standard oil change and stuff like that?
Oil change, tire rotation.
Yeah.
Had that nail. I had
Had a nail.
I had a nail on my tire for like 2 months. But it wasn't losing air. So I'm like, all right, well, I ain't gonna waste no time. You know what I'm saying? I'll wait till I get an oil change.
Yep.
And I said, hey, I got a nail in my right passenger tire. He said, well, we'll see if we can patch it. I'm like, hold on. I said, I've been driving around with it for 2 months and have never had to add air.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you could pull that nail out and I may need a new tire?
Go ahead and keep that nail there.
And then he called and said, good news. I'm like, that's not good news for me. Nothing's wrong with my tire.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it because I told him I'd drop it off. I'll pick it up later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I usually don't have time to wait.
No, that makes sense. The other day I had some service on my car at Toyota in Hollywood, headquartered Toyota or whatever. And I put in my car by 8 a.m. They called me an Uber to my home. And then I went to work, came back, and they called me an Uber back. I went, okay. All right. I'll take that.
Yeah. There's good customers. See, why people think that when I get mad at customer service and they say, well, that's the way service is now. That's not true.
Yeah.
There's people busting their hump to make sure you get they do a good job. And I appreciate that. It's the lazy people that think you're gonna tip anyway, or it is what it is people that really get me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that kind of sets the standard where you go somewhere. I do this. I'm guilty of doing this sometimes, and I've kind of changed my way. But I'll tip before I even get the service, and then they give me service. The tip's already gone, and they're validated.
I'm not. No. See,
learned.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
One would think that if you give a good tip before the service, that the service would be good.
Yep.
But that's not the way America works. The way America works is I got the money. There's no need to put any extra effort into it.
Yeah, they already got what they want.
Right. Which makes me appreciate athletes even more so. Guys that get signing bonuses and guaranteed contracts and still go out there and bust their hump to play. You already set for life. What drives you? You see what I'm saying? To still go out there and put that work in the offseason and get it done. That's an underappreciated aspect of, getting paid all that money. That's why I have a hard time with the fat cat syndrome thing. Like, just because you're playing poorly don't mean you ain't working your tail off to try to be good.
No, true. Leroy, let's go ahead and get to some headlines. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
How much of the MLB All-Star game did you catch yesterday?
Shohei Ohtani.
Correct. Bomb. Bro, he hit a bomb.
He hit a bomb. And then
Yeah.
who's the dude that came in and faced him the second time that was throwing 103?
Man.
Closer. He was, look.
Name now.
He threw a ball in the dirt.
Yeah.
It said 104. I'm like, get out of here. And then, wait, you know it's bad when your changeup is 90.
Yeah. I mean, he's an all-star for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, but originally they say he was supposed to be a starter. He started having elbow problems and moved to a closer. And now, wow, heat.
Yeah. I think it was Paul Skeens or Skennies. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
No, but Paul Skeens isn't Skeens a starter for the Pirates?
Yeah, he was him.
But that's not the guy I'm talking about.
That's how you're talking about? Okay, because it says that he joined Justin Verlander and Chris Sale as only starting pitchers.
Yeah.
To throw multiple 100-mile-per-hour pitches in the All-Star game.
Yeah, but that he started the game. I'm not talking about him.
Closers.
There was another guy that came in.
Yeah.
For I want to say the National League. He was oh my goodness. He was throwing some heat. But I didn't watch very much of it. I was going back and forth, and then I saw Shohei Ohtani hit that bomb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that dude is just good.
He's good.
Think about this. And you're only getting half a Shohei right now.
Yep. That's the craziest part about it. This is him recovering from an injury.
This is him recovering from injury.
Yeah. I think he's probably leading the league in home runs, if I'm not mistaken.
I think 28 is leading the league.
Oh, yeah. I got right here. It says Judge. Judge is leading with 34. Shohei has 29.
29. Okay.
That's
so that might have been just been the leader with in the home run derby, not the leader in the league.
Yeah, I mean it still is impressive.
It's ridiculous. And yeah, folks, guess what? He's a pitcher.
Crazy.
Just think about that. You got paid what? $600 million?
Yeah. And he did some weird stuff with his contract too.
Yeah, he get paid $1 for the next 2 years. And then you know what it is? Let me tell you what kind of contract that is. That is the Stanton contract.
But
the Marlins said we paid $300 million for Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
But they were only paying him like $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. Then they traded him, and now they paying $30 million, $40 million. Right.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. In other news, we have a weird start time today for Heat Summer League. It's Heat versus Mavericks. Start time today, Leroy, 3 p.m.
So it's noon there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be noon in Vegas, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch that on ESPN2. That'll be Heat versus Mavericks. Mavericks 0-2 in the Las Vegas Summer League thus far. The Heat 2-0. Is there a championship? I believe that. I feel like I remember. There's like a trophy or something. I feel like I remember someone holding it up. Interesting to see if Jaime Jaquez Jr. will still play.
I thought he was only playing 2 games.
Me too. So, if he plays, that'll be something we weren't expecting.
I mean, listen, he just spent 75 games playing against the NBA's best.
Yeah, absolutely.
He should be scoring 29 and 23 against, guys trying to find their way.
Yeah. We'll see. I guess we'll find out just after our show, 3 p.m. tip-off. Again, you can find that on ESPN2. In other news, Leroy, I believe yesterday there were some small moves made by the Miami Dolphins. Bunch of players I don't even really know. We've placed safety Mark Perry on the active non-football injury list and wide receiver Taj Washington on the active physically unable to perform list.
PUP.
PUP.
Want me to tell you why you do that?
I would love to know.
If you have 80 guys,
yeah,
and you take 2 guys and put them on one of those lists, you can bring 2 more guys in.
Oh. Okay. So essentially it just frees up.
They move like a lot of people around so that they can bring more guys in. So like when camp starts, you may have 90, 95 guys in the building, but only 80 are active, and a bunch of them have designations where they're allowed to work out and practice, but they're not on the active roster. You see what I mean? So there's a lot of that going on, especially with young guys. Or so say they'll do something like this. If you know for a fact that either Chubb or Jaelan Phillips aren't going to be ready for 6 weeks, you can put them on the PUP.
Yeah.
They can't come back until week 6, but they weren't going to come back anyway. And then you can bring 2 more guys up on the active roster. You see what I mean? Then when those guys come back and they get put on the active roster, then you start seeing stuff like so-and-so was cut or so-and-so, right? And they move things around that way. So it's very normal. It's happening with every team. They're just trying to find ways to either get another look at some guys or, give guys an opportunity to heal. Because what's the point if he's not practicing anyway?
Yeah.
If he's not practicing running group drills, then being on the PUP doesn't really do anything for you. And I think you have to decide. A guy can be on the PUP now, but I think there's a cutoff before the first game where he has to be on the active roster and not PUP. If you're on PUP when the season starts, then you're automatically out the first 6 weeks.
Okay, so this is essentially just like
nothing.
attempting to get more body.
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, that's good. Hopefully that means that we'll be adding more pieces to the roster.
It's very normal. A lot of teams are doing it, though. It's not just the Dolphins. It's just you're unfamiliar with these players.
Yep. A couple stats that I want to run by you. I had been mentioning this EA Sports College Football 25 had released. It released, I believe it was yesterday at 4 p.m. or the day before at 4 p.m.
The day before, because remember we talked to Dono about his playing.
Yeah, played 45 minutes or something like that. If you think about it, yesterday the statistics came out at one point, and I even saw some screenshots of this that were sent to me. The game hit 713,974 online players at once. If you think about it, this was early access, which means in order to be playing it yesterday,
you had to sign up for it.
You had to pay $100 for it.
Oh, really?
Now, if you think about it, the 700,000 people that paid $100 for it in one day, that equates to about $70 million day one.
So if you didn't pay for it to play day one, then you get it released later, and it's the regular $49.99 or whatever.
Yeah, the regular. I mean, I think it's up to like $60, but then the normal losers like myself play Friday when it finally released.
Hey, I still get a football game every year.
Like a Madden?
Yeah.
Man, that's nice. They just send it to you and you don't even have a system or anything? Fonz has a system.
Fonz, oh, please. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When Fonz started realizing that I was getting sent games and stuff like that, he's like, you don't even play. But now they don't even buy the game. because it's
Yeah.
all online.
All digital. Yeah. I saw something actually recently that Xbox is coming out with something that they're going to sell you the remote and they're going to sell you an Amazon Fire Stick. And that's how you play now. No Xbox.
So they got their own Roku.
Essentially, yeah. They got their own little system figured out there. That
I got to tell you, this
Yeah.
Roku.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You love it?
Because here's the deal. Like, I don't need to have a box for DirecTV and then go to the Fire Stick for or have the
Gotta
the little
switch the HDMI.
the icon for Netflix and Prime. You know how they come on the bottom of the TV? I
Yep.
just hit Roku and they all your stuff comes up and you just go to the one you want.
Yeah. Even on the remote, I'm not sure if the Roku does this, but my Amazon TV.
Oh yeah, it has Netflix, Prime.
Yep.
Right. It has Netflix. On my remote, it has Netflix, it has Prime, and I think it has Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. But yeah, but I don't need that because I just go to Roku main.
Yeah. No, it really
And
is.
here's what I can't figure out.
What?
Like, there's so many like gadgets that you could buy. Some of the little things that you pay for, the box or whatever, there's free shows on all the time.
No, they're definitely.
So like if I didn't have Netflix or DirecTV or whatever, Roku like has free stuff on there. For one price, that's it.
No, it completely like there's even channels now like for these free things that they have. Like you can watch Family Feud for 24 hours straight if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, Family Feud channel. No, I like my best. See, that's where Instagram. That's where I live on Instagram for the Family Feud funnies.
So good, so good. No matter how bad the answer, they're always like, "Good answer, good answer."
No, he said, "Name something that you feel."
Yeah.
Right. And do your Kool-Aid picture. No, but he was saying feel. And he thought he was saying feel. Right, because he was country.
Yeah. That's great.
My goodness. And then Steve will stop.
Love Steve as a host. You gotta love Steve as a host. I'm sure there's been other great hosts, and I used to watch.
I think they do a good job of finding a person with that personality that's going to interact. You know what I mean? So they always have pretty good hosts, but Steve, his reactions to some of the answers, I can't imagine because you're doing that. Say you might take 2 or 3 shows a day, right? And you do like a month and a week or whatever, however they film it. I would imagine that he is just stunned at some of the answers.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you see it in his face. He can't hide it at all.
He can't hide it.
Now we have some news in the NFL. Arguably the top story for the top. Well, he's not even a free agent at the moment. So I'd say the most coveted player at the moment. We have an update you can only find here on the Tobin and Leroy show from our very own Leroy Horde. We got more information on that and much more when we come back on the Tobin and Leroy show.
Don't even matter your color. Your fellas, I forget about y'all. This is for everybody like. I put my hand up on your hip.
Welcome back to the Tobin and Leroy show. Live, 560 WQAM. We're on 10 to 2 today. Tobin out for the whole week.
The whole
week. And next week he'll actually be, I don't even know. What is he?
and he'll be
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Yes,
at the Big Ten
Media Day.
Media Day. Now.
Oh, look at his chops.
If I must say. Is there anybody in that building who played in the Big Ten?
No, I don't. Well, there is one guy that I'm familiar with, if I'm not mistaken,
And guess where he's going to be?
Not in Indianapolis, I'm assuming.
No.
Huh. So the Big Ten guy is not.
And they're sending Tobin and I think Zach Krantz. Now, yeah.
Did Zach play in the Big Ten? Is this something I don't know by any chance?
I don't even think Tobin's ever been in the Big Ten. I mean, driving or whatever. The farthest he's been, Tennessee.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why didn't you go? Was this they just wasn't asked? Would you have gone though? Those things are kind of yeah, I feel you.
They're no fun, but here's
Big Ten though. That's you.
Right. Yeah. Would have loved to been able to
make the decision.
New coach.
Yeah. Oh, that's it would have been a good opportunity for you.
Jamar Moore would have loved to meet him.
Yep. He's not the guy who was crying last year, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good coach.
We have some questions. Definitely. Hey man. Hey,
crying, bro?
I just here's what I don't get.
Yeah.
When you bust your ass to get to a certain point, right, in your life.
Yeah.
Why are you crying? Why are you shocked when you get there?
Yeah, you've mentioned that you're not necessarily
right. You like this is where you want to be. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I understand if you win a natty or win a Super Bowl or something like that. Right?
Yeah, but just attaining a job, you don't think it's worthy of a cry.
Right. Right. Like if he would have cried becoming the head coach, I would have been okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is like the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But you didn't know it would maybe get there as quick as it did. And you didn't know that moment in time earlier last year would have given you an opportunity to be the head coach of this team.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I can understand if you just like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of, dude, I didn't like when I got drafted.
Yeah.
I didn't like, I mean, I'm like, I would say I've gotten emotional, but not after a win. Not a win.
It was a win over number 10 Penn State at the time. It was probably their biggest win of the season thus far.
Yeah. No, it was, you know what? And here's the deal. He's got a lot of Jim Harbaugh in him with how he goes about things, right? Going for it on fourth down, stuff like that. He got some stones. But here's the problem with Michigan this year. And I hope they don't hold this against him. There is no college team that's going to be as good as they were last year if you get 12 guys drafted.
Yeah, for sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Turnover.
Right. And
those are 12 pros that are leaving your team.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Including a top 10 quarterback. So now the one thing I say that will help them is Michigan gets quarterbacks drafted high, but don't really use their quarterback. He makes pivotal plays when he needs to, but the team is not living or dying with the play of their quarterback. they live or die with the trenches, offense and defense, running the football and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And so, although they had a very good quarterback, right? And you saw him when he had to make plays, he made plays. But they really try not to put him in a position where he's going to have to make a whole bunch of plays to win a game.
Yeah.
That's just the way they operate. It has nothing to do with the talent of the quarterback or what the faith they have or don't have in the quarterback. It's just that they're going to line up, they're going to beat you up, they're going to run the football and go that route. So all questions I would have loved to kick the tires with and, and kind of, tell him I'll be up there for Texas.
Yeah.
And then chop it up with him. But I can't listen. I make fun of not being up there, but I'm gonna be honest. I can't say that I would have gone. So I'm not.
Sometimes you want the invite, though.
I'm not gonna just put Lynn and everybody on blast. Although, like, it would kind of have been. I would have thought about it.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, think about this. So I went to Michigan, right? Would have loved to talk to Shamar Moore.
Yes, sir.
Kurt Ferenz was my offensive line coach when I was in Cleveland. He's the head coach at Iowa.
Okay, so that's two.
He's one of the most stand-up guys, and that's probably why he's had that job so long.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right? And think about this. Offensive line coaches and how hyped up and how intense they are or whatever. He was mellow. He was mellow.
So
he didn't really
those are the ones
never really screamed, never really screamed.
Yeah.
Talk to his guys. He'd have conversations with you. He's one of the coaches that I really, really liked. Another one is Lewis. What's his first name? I forgot it. He was
what is the coach?
Hey, he was the head coach at he got the head coaching job. He was at Cincinnati for a long time. Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis. And here's why. We were in camp.
Yep.
We were in Baltimore. He was the linebackers coach at the time.
Oh wow.
And he had a rule.
That's right. He was a linebackers coach.
He had a rule.
What was his rule?
When you run a pass rush against the running backs, one bull rush per camp.
Oh, I got you.
See, because the whole deal was they 250, you 220, and you sitting there. They ain't got nothing else to worry about. They ain't got no other defense to read, and they just go and bull rush you and dump truck you, and your coach yelling at you, fight. Yeah, I'm like, he's 250. I'm standing still.
What am I supposed to do?
Right, exactly. So he had a rule: one bull rush per camp.
That's good.
If you bull rushed again, you had to run. So so that one bull rush, that saved me.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of cool people that I have met and have known that have coached and have become head coaches and stuff like that. When I was in Cleveland, Scott Pioli and Eric Mangini, they were like the Gophers. They held up the card for the scout team.
Oh.
Like Bill sent them to do everything.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Definitely Mangini was a part of his.
Yes. Jim Schwartz was there.
Yeah.
And all these guys end up being phenomenal coaches. And there's something to be said about, it's weird because think about this. This is what's weird about Bill Belichick. All of the coaches he had in Cleveland ended up having success. Yeah. All of the coaches he had in New England did not.
No success.
And so I think he kind of, I don't know how to put it. Maybe the guys that he had in New England, just he told them what to do. They didn't really have a voice. Whereas he was a younger coach and he maybe leaned on the other coaches a little bit more.
They were more his peers as opposed to his understudies.
Right. But even the guys that he brought in as understudies had success.
Yeah.
Jim Schwartz is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league.
No, for sure.
Eric
Yeah.
Mangini had a couple of head coaching jobs.
Yeah, for sure.
Scott Pioli, front office.
Yep.
Right. So there was a lot of guys that had hit. Al Groh was a linebacker coach there. He ended up coaching Virginia. Nick Saban was the defensive coordinator. Kurt Ferenz, he was offensive line coach. He's still the head coach. He's been the head coach at Iowa for almost 20 years. They can't score. They can't score. They can play some defense. They can't score. Oh my goodness. Woo! You want to talk about? I don't know what to do.
Man, I'm looking at a lot of articles now about what I was referencing prior to us going to break. We're gonna take another quick break and come back so we can discuss it more. It seems, Leroy, you may be ahead of the curve in this one. You were already correcting your previous guess, but based off articles that I'm reading here from Yahoo Sports and from New York Times, Leroy may know something the rest of the NFL does not about the most coveted wide receiver available at the moment. We'll talk more about that when we come back on the Tobin and Leroy Show.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's
back? Guess who's back?
That's that new Eminem, Leroy. Have you heard it by any chance?
Yes, I have. I heard that song. He's just good.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the few people that he ain't gonna never get caught in no beef.
Correct. Well, he did have a beef with Ja Rule for a little bit. But 50 Cent kind of took that one over, if I had to be honest.
Yeah, because 50 Cent ain't gonna say nothing about Eminem. That's who got him.
Oh, 50 Cent loves Eminem, so he took the liberty of ending Ja Rule's career.
And he said there's two people. I heard 50 say this in an interview.
Yeah.
There's two people to the day he died he ain't gonna never say nothing bad about. Eminem and Dr. Dre.
No, absolutely. I mean, they gave him the platform to be the icon that he is, and thank God he did. 50 had a run there. 50 had a run.
And then, now he's doing that producing with all them shows.
Yeah.
He's Power, right?
Yeah, I think he's Power.
Power,
right?
and now
yeah.
So yeah.
Dade South corrects me. 50 Cent versus Ja Rule was first. Eminem stepped in later. All right. Well, either way, I know Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem went back and forth for a bit, but I mean, Machine Gun Kelly. Who are we? I mean, come on.
Eminem is like, make up your mind. Now, I will say this.
Yeah.
I would usually say that, like, people picking genres or whatever because, they didn't make it in the other one.
Yeah.
Right? Because remember, a lot of these pop stars started off in country and they cross over to pop. Right?
Yeah.
But there's one person I'm not going to say that about, and that's Post Malone.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is touch them all.
For sure. He's definitely
with everybody in every genre or whatever. Right? He did a collaboration with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yep. And it was good.
It was good. Right.
Yeah, it was good.
So yeah, I'm not there's certain people that I can't say that about Hootie. Darius Rucker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on, everybody thinks he's Hootie, right?
Is he not Hootie? Like,
no.
He's Hootie.
I heard the explanation is about a friend.
Man, he's Hootie.
Nickname Hootie or something like that. It's not, none of them in the group name is Hootie.
He's Hootie. Darius Rucker's Hootie.
So he went to country and won Grammys in country. So I can't question him.
No, it makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Now, Leroy, the biggest story in football, as football is in a bit of a slow period right now.
Yeah, so we kick the tires on pretty much anything. And here's what we have this time of year.
Yes.
Right?
Indeed.
You talk about even like the rookies usually sign quicker because they're slotted. There's no big contracts. You pretty much have an idea of what you're going to get. Right? Yep. The other thing is guys trying to get contracts and then asking out.
Correct.
Or guys getting traded because they can't get a contract because the team can get something good. San Francisco finds themselves in one of those situations.
Yes.
Right.
With receiver Brandon Ayuk.
Yep. Brandon Ayuk. Right. Mm-hmm. He says he wants to be traded.
Correct.
Because they won't pay him. One of the unfortunate things about this is I think they need him.
No, I think he's a great wide receiver.
Right.
I think you don't find
they need him.
Yeah,
now,
this is not something they're just going to find in the offseason.
Now there's a team that I would deem to be all in.
All right. Now
last year they got Amari Cooper. This offseason, they signed Jerry Jeudy. And now somebody's kicking the tires on Brandon Ayuk. And rumor has it that the Browns are interested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rumor has it. Now,
so I accidentally sent the message to Lynn, and it was WOTS. He goes, I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. I said, word on the street. So,
You liked it,
I
though.
know he had, and I probably could send that to anybody, and the only 3 people that would get it is you, Tobin, and JFig. You try to figure out the words because
Yeah.
other than that, right? Nobody else understands our text.
No, for sure. I mean, it took me a second. I thought it was a like an error of some sort. I was like, Watts. But then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is Leroy with a theory about something. So this is
Yeah,
definitely a word on the street.
Yeah,
And as we all remember, if you guys are listeners and fans of this show, prior to Donovan Mitchell signing his extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers, our very own Leroy Horde had inside information that he would do so. And even though Tobin continued to deny it, I'd say 24 hours later, Leroy was vindicated as Donovan Mitchell signed that extension. Now I'm looking at yahoosports.com. Some of the teams they have listed as potential options are the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Patriots, the Lions. New York Times has the Chargers potentially making a move.
Patriots ain't happening.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Lions. I don't think it's happening.
The Lions, they have a lot. Oh man, they got a lot of talented wide receivers.
They do, but they just re-signed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
They
just re-signed the Steelers,
Brown, and Penei Sewell.
The Steelers. If you want to start, they don't normally do it like that.
Yeah.
Right. The Steelers are very frivolous. They're very cheap.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
They'll get rid of a guy before giving them big money. Like
Absolutely.
just remember Bell?
Le'Veon Bell.
Brown. Right. Well, Antonio Brown. Like,
I mean,
the Steelers were the only team that could get him to actually play football.
Yeah, absolutely. They got rid of that headache at the right time.
Yeah.
But the Commanders was another team that was mentioned.
But here's the deal. And I'm gonna say this about the Commanders.
Yeah.
I like what you're doing. You ain't there yet.
That's fair.
You ain't there yet to spend big money on one player. You got to get your base.
They have the second most effective salary cap, though. Salary cap space with a little more than 37 million.
Don't matter. You got to find out what you need.
Yeah.
Before you start just filling positions that, right?
Of need, I guess.
Right. Exactly. So that everybody's taking the money they have available.
Yeah.
And making that seem like, okay, this is it. I would say I even have some questions about whether the Browns should do it. Because
that's fair.
I mean,
I'm looking for Cooper. I could be potentially in the wrong.
No, dude.
He's still there, right?
He is. Yeah.
Okay.
He is probably one of the. Here's the class I put him in. Who was the Florida State wide receiver that went to Arizona?
Anquan Bolden. Yes.
Year after year after year, they would say, well, he's not fast. He doesn't do this. He doesn't, right? But he catches 90, 100 balls every year, right? He is like, you know where he's going to be. He catches the ball. He makes plays. He does things like that. And for some reason, we don't think that matters in football, right? It's like the Christian Wilkins thing. Like 100 tackles as a defensive lineman, we look at sacks. So we look at Anquan Bolden and go yards per catch, or we'll look at a whole bunch of other numbers to support our point, other than year after year after year, dude makes tough catches. He does a lot of things. They'll talk about, oh, he doesn't get separation. Oh, he doesn't do this. Oh, he doesn't do that. Right? That's kind of what Amari Cooper is.
Yeah.
He runs routes better than almost anybody in the league.
Yep.
He's a veteran. He knows how to get open. He knows. I would put Amari Cooper in the same. And I'm gonna say I'm not trying to cheat the Hall of Famer.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say this: when you think of Chris Carter,
yes,
you don't think of a guy who's a burner. You think of a guy who's a pro. right? Can catch the hell out of the football, knows how to work a defense, knows how to get open, reliable, and that's what Amari Cooper is.
Yeah, I compare him to like a Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt kind of vibe.
Well, those guys could burn. Isaac Bruce was fast as hell.
Was he? I didn't even know. I just knew that you threw the ball his way or Torrey Holt's way, they're catching.
Right. But they were burners. They weren't. It would be. He's somewhere in between Jarvis Landry and Chris Carter.
Ooh. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? That's where I would put Amari Cooper. He's more explosive than Jarvis Landry, but hasn't done it. I mean, you look at his numbers; they're amazing.
Yep.
And just go, people just underestimate him. He did have a game for 265 last year, by the way.
Let's not forget that. You know, he's actually in a bit of a contract dispute, apparently.
Well, yeah.
They're actually questioning whether or not he'll show up to camp. Do you think this means that the Browns replace him with Ayuk, or do you think they get a deal done? And
it's one of those things. I'm going to say the same thing I say to them that I said with Christian Wilkins.
Yeah.
You think you can get one of those anywhere.
Yeah.
But you can't. Like, he is a unique player. That's what I said about Christian Wilkins. Dude, I've been around football long enough.
Yeah.
Defensive tackles don't have 100 tackles.
No, for sure. And then he picked it up with sacks the next year.
Because that's what they told him.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
He's
but here's the deal. Let's think about this from a common sense standpoint. What is a sack?
Tackle for a loss on a quarterback.
Tackle for loss is just with a quarterback.
Yep.
He had 20 plus, almost 25 tackles for loss. Who does he care who it is?
Yeah.
From that position, the 25 tackles for loss means that he's back there.
He's in the backfield for sure.
Right.
Not to mention the tackles, and this is a stat that won't come up.
All over the field.
20 yards down the field. Those are the ones that are impressive to me.
That energy, I've only played with one guy.
Yeah.
One guy in my life that had that energy and to this day still has that same energy, and that's John Randall.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude.
That was your boy.
He had so much energy, it was annoying.
Play too much.
And it's funny because you mad and he just playing.
Yep.
Right? Like,
too big to play that much.
Yes. Was it? You know what? Here's the funny thing. He only weighed like 265. Yeah.
He looked bigger.
Yeah. No. That's what all the eye black and the war paint. They made him stop doing that.
No, I didn't. Why?
Made him run his career. I don't know. Because it makes football too physical for the kids. I don't know, man.
You heard it here first. Leroy suspects there is a chance that the Cleveland Browns will be the ones to land Brandon Ayuk. And
when I hear stuff like that, I try to make sense of it.
Yeah.
And what I would say is this. Cleveland has done everything they can to put talent around Deshaun Watson.
Yes, indeed.
And you've never heard me say this about a player because I'm always hesitant to do this.
Yep. But it's time.
But yes. Like, come on, dude. You got $230 million, and this is year 3.
Yep.
Year 3, and we've had 6 quarterbacks since you've been here.
Correct.
That ain't supposed to happen. Not at 230. Right?
So not at 230 fully guaranteed.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think he will. But think about this. It's been 5 years since he played good football.
Yep.
How do we chew on that?
Plenty of questions, including will he have another wide receiver option? When we come back in hour 2, Leroy, a peer of yours, a Hall of Fame, a fellow running back in handcuffs this weekend, and wrongfully so. We'll discuss who it was, why it happened, and what's next here on the Tobin and Leroy Show.
Summer's underway. Inter Miami's in full swing.
Into the area. Messi beats the line, beats the goal.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tagovailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Can go to hell. Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins quarterback. Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of
Hour 2 of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy, 560 WQAM. Catch us on YouTube and Twitch.
Yes, sir.
Leroy,
What's up?
before we get to any headlines, I do have to let people know about the fine things we will be giving away this week. Classic rock bands Styx and Foreigner will be at the I Think Financial Amphitheater in West Palm this Friday. You can win yourself in by going to WQAM.com/contest and enter online. Tickets courtesy of Live Nation. In addition to that, Sarah Silverman is bringing her post-mortem tour to the Fillmore in Miami Beach this coming January. Keep listening to us for details on how you can win tickets. This is a Live Nation show.
You know who Sarah Silverman is the producer for?
Oh, don't tell me. Two Broke Girls.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, you know she was relationship? I don't know if she was married. She was in a relationship with Jimmy Kimmel. You know that?
Was she?
Yeah, I think.
And the girl from Two Broke Girls, she was in Thor.
Oh, what role did she play?
She was the sidekick of the
Oh, I got you.
scientist.
She wasn't the evil sister, was she?
No.
Leroy, let's go ahead and get to some headlines. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
So, I mentioned this right before we got off. There was something that happened this weekend that we actually hadn't had a chance to cover, and it involves someone you may be vaguely familiar with. I'm not sure how much your paths cross, but I'm sure at the very least you guys may have shared the field once or twice. Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, Broncos running back.
Mm-hmm. He Hall of Famer. He had a very short career.
Yeah, which is, surprising that he was able to make it in. And I mean, he was good.
I think he had 2,000. That's why.
And a Super Bowl championship doesn't hurt.
2.
2. Wow.
I think he had 2.
Maybe. I believe you.
He was there the whole time with John Elway. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. Let's see. Terrell Davis, Super Bowls, 2. Yeah. 98, 99.
Yep.
Beautiful. And he has he's one of only 8 running backs to have rushed for more than 2,000 yards in a season. Mm-hmm. 7 seasons in the NFL.
That's it. Well,
that was quick.
Here.
Yeah.
The kicker is OJ did it in 14 games.
No, that's crazy. No one will ever compete with that one. That's crazy.
Well, I'm surprised nobody's broken. I'm surprised nobody's broken the record.
That's Dickerson who's still.
Dickerson is 2105.
Yeah.
But who owns the record
for
most yards rushing in a professional football season?
In a professional football season. That tells me that it may not be NFL because of the way that you said it. Record for the most rushing yards in a professional season.
You want a hint?
Yeah, let me get a hint.
He played NFL football and was part of one of the biggest trades in football that sent one team to a dynasty.
Sent one team to a dynasty. All right, let me make some guesses.
Okay.
And this is gonna be, I'm just throwing things out there. Marcus Allen.
Nope.
No.
Was
Okay.
traded, but nope. I don't think he was traded. I think he just went to
Okay.
Kansas City.
Bo Jackson.
Nope. Career wasn't long enough.
Career wasn't long enough. Okay. Not okay. And this is trade, not professional. Man, I'm gonna know. You're gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, oh, of course.
How many yards?
Yeah.
It was like 2,400.
Okay. I don't think it's this person, but I feel like it's someone historical around this side. So I'll say Gale Sayers.
Nope.
All right. Who is it? Most rushing yards one season in professional football history.
Herschel Walker.
Herschel.
And remember, he was part of the biggest trade
Herschel
that
Walker.
got all those draft picks. He got drafted from Dallas to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then Dallas used all them picks to then become a dynasty.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. They
Yeah.
ran the
The
90s.
USFL. You can pull it up.
USFL. Yeah, looking at it right now.
Yeah. What,
Highest
2,400?
What you said it was a USFL?
Yeah.
USFL season.
Because remember, that was I knew a lot of guys that got drafted in the first round twice.
Yeah.
Because they went to the USFL. Then when it folded, they went back into the NFL draft.
And then got
Drafted.
Wow. Wow. He in his 2-year career, which is quite impressive. Oh, 3 years. Sorry. 3-year career. Over 5,000 yards rushing. That one season, yes, he had 2,400, and that was his final season there too.
Yeah.
2,400 yards rushing, but the first two weren't bad either. You know, a solid 1,800 the first season, 1,300 the second season. That last season,
second season, he was banged up.
Yeah. It definitely says that he didn't have that many carries in comparison to the other. He had upwards of 400 carries in the other ones. That one season he was banged up. He only had 293. So. But if you add in the receiving yards for that one season in 85 that he was with the Generals, he had 2,400 yards rushing, about 400 yards receiving, and a total of 22 touchdowns that year. So you're talking about 2,800 yards. Yeah.
And you're considered elite if you have 2,000.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Right. No, I'm talking about 2,000 like rushing, receiving.
Yeah, combined for sure. And
right.
He did that just rushing, and then receiving, he had another 400 in there. At that point, I mean, that's just whatever he's able to give you in the receiving game. It's just a bonus.
Guess who owned the Generals?
Who owned the Generals? Oh, don't tell me. Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, back to this Terrell Davis story. I'm going to go ahead and read this because this is something that I find completely bizarre, and it has to do with United Airlines. Did you hear about this story by any chance?
No, I didn't. Because Terrell Davis is a pretty laid back dude. He ain't getting caught up in all the, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Right.
I've never heard of anything, crazy family man for the most part. So this is a statement that he released a day ago. And it says, quote, "I am still in shock over the traumatizing events that occurred Saturday aboard United flight from Denver to Orange County with my wife, 2 sons, and daughter." So full family there. "During the beverage service, my son politely requested a cup of ice. The flight attendant either didn't hear or ignored his request and continued past our row," which happens, from time to time. You may get them when they're looking left, looking right. Completely understand. Therefore, as a parent, you do what you need to do to make sure your child gets what they need. So he goes on to say, "I calmly reached behind me and lightly tapped his arm to get his attention to again ask for a cup of ice for my son. His response and the events that followed should stun all of us. He shouted, 'Don't hit me,' and left the cart to hurriedly approach the front of the plane. I was confused, as were the passengers in front of me who witnessed the exchange. I thought nothing of it other than this particular employee was incredibly rude and blatantly wrong in his accusations of me hitting him. I did not see or interact with him further for the duration of the flight. As we landed in Orange County, the pilot asked all passengers to remain seated. 6 FBI and law enforcement agents boarded the plane. The FBI agents and local authorities proceeded to directly directly to my seat and immediately placed me in handcuffs while seated and without any explanation in front of my wife and children while the entire flight of passengers watched in silence. I was then removed from the flight while being recorded by multiple passengers as I was paraded off the plane in handcuffs by the officers. I was and remain humiliated, embarrassed, powerless, and angry. During questioning, it was rightfully determined by the agents that this flight attendant was inaccurate in his accusations, and the agents profusely apologized, even offering to support me and my family in any way possible. I have yet to hear anything from United Airlines. The traumatizing experience of my 2 sons, my daughter, and my wife watching me be placed in handcuffs without due process or any explanation cannot be undone. At this very moment, not even 48 hours later, we as a family are having hard conversations with each other about what transpired and to answer the many questions my children have. I refuse to stand by without speaking out or discussing this disgusting display of injustice and deplorable treatment by United Airlines. My legal team will be in contact with United Airlines. That was his statement that he released a day ago via Instagram. And, I'm also seeing the story here covered on TMZ Sports. Essentially just seems like he was on a plane, asked for ice, touched the guy. The guy kind of took it incorrectly and resulted in him, being in that horrible situation.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
If you react like that, you had a problem before.
Yeah, there's something.
You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like if somebody tap you on the shoulder you don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't overreact.
As opposed to someone.
So there is something else, right?
Yeah.
That he had a problem with that might be the reason why he ignored the kid in the first place.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
And there's many of options, of course, the one that probably comes to mind immediately is this guy racist? Was the guy just being racist?
Right. But here's the other thing. That the fact that United Airlines hasn't said anything.
Yes.
Right? Because
not directly to him at the very least.
Let me tell you why they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that they apologize in a way that doesn't give him the ability to sue them for admitting they were wrong.
Yeah, that doesn't validate the point that I think
it doesn't. Right.
As for United Airlines and its apology to Davis this week, it said it removed the flight attendant in question from duty while we closely review this matter. So it's not necessarily agreeing with either side or.
He said the flight attendant came out and apologized that he overreacted.
No, the flight attendant never apologized. The agents, the FBI agents who arrested him apologized once they realized that this guy's tripping.
And that's what it took. It took 6 FBI agents. So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Let's review. Normally, in a situation like that,
yep,
if it was that serious, the plane would touch down right away.
For sure. If it was,
but they continued onto the flight.
Correct.
Landed in their destination.
Yep.
And then SWAT had to come and get him.
Yeah, FBI agents.
FBI agents.
Yeah.
And they couldn't just escort him off, right?
And
they had to handcuff him.
Yeah, handcuff him at his seat in front of his children, his wife. Right. That's something that's going to stay with you forever. But it's not just that, dude. Like, what did this guy, this representative of United tell them that would lead them to believe that they had to come in like SWAT? Because they don't have the story. They're not asking questions. They're only getting one side of the story. And from the way that works is if an airline call and say we got an issue, right? They probably not lying. No, correct. Now, the statement goes on to say, I demand A thorough and proper investigation into the flight attendant who blatantly lied and placed undue harm on me and my family. These lies and the ensuing events have the capacity to tarnish the reputation I've spent decades building, and this person should not be able to do this again to anyone in the future.
So he'll get fired.
Oh yeah, definitely get fired.
But now we need you know what make you feel good?
What's that?
Some money. You ain't getting off. Listen, no, you ain't getting off that cheap.
Nope. No, you simply firing the guy. He deserved to be fired. You're not doing anything for me by firing the guy that deserved to be fired.
Oh,
now I need some compensation.
Oh my goodness.
What happened? Is it the comments?
Tobin.
Well, what'd he say?
He sent me a picture of Jaelan Phillips running straight line.
Okay. All right. Well, when we come back in hour 2, we will check out those images or videos that Tobin is sending in regards to Jaelan Phillips. And is there a new contestant in contention for the top uniform in Miami sports? We have a new entry, Leroy. I'll provide you with the picture. You determine where this ranks in the hierarchy of Miami sports uniforms. That and more when we come back on the Tobin and Leroy Show.
This hour of
This how we from. Easy now.
Uh-oh. I feel like I need to do that TikTok dance.
This how we from.
Bam, 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 bam.
This song was hot. I didn't understand a word she was saying.
Oh, like I don't even know. Like it could be Portuguese. Sometimes I hear Portuguese and I'm like, is this Spanish? What are we doing here? I can't really even tell. And then
That's what it took me. I have friends who are Cuban.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand somebody, and I asked them, and they said, that's Portuguese. I don't know that.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, right. And I felt bad because I brought them as a representative of, I got Cuban friends. Hold on. I can't understand that. Right. So,
you know, that's the equivalent to I got black friends.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this guy's speaking another language. I don't know, Creole. What do you want
Yeah.
to do?
So, Tobin sent me.
Yes.
And it's David Flores.
Oh, yeah.
Jaelan Phillips workout post. He ran a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
He said, science is marvelous.
Science is marvelous.
Can I please?
What?
Dude, like, I love.
Why don't you think that he's making a miraculous comeback, though? Like,
this is not miraculous. Just because you can run a straight line in 8 months?
Yeah, that's good.
It doesn't mean you can play football, though.
Okay, no one's saying he can play football yet.
Tobin is.
But no. Tobin's saying he'll be ready by week 1.
Right. Because he ran a straight line in July.
But you saw that ladder drill too. That was cool.
But he did it. You see, here's what the dum-dums don't get that I'm trying to break down for you. Why did he do it barefoot?
Why did he do it barefoot? That's a good question. Do you have?
I'm going to tell you why.
Yes, please.
So he doesn't grip and twist his Achilles. So the foot gives. So you do a lot of these drills, getting the work in, but not getting so much traction you could tear it again. He's not anywhere. He can't do these drills with shoes on. And when you run a straight line, he's not getting in a 3-point stance and exploding. He's just kind of gradually getting into it. That's not football.
Okay, now it's not football. But you don't think in 2 months it could be football? If he's doing stuff like this now, you don't think he can strengthen to whatever he needs to in 2 months?
Dude.
When's the first one? When's the first week? Week
September 13th, September 7th, somewhere.
Week 1, 5th.
5th. Okay.
Oh, no. That's the, what's that, the Hall of Fame game? Is that what
No, that's not the Hall of Fame game.
Can't be, right?
No, that's that Thursday, that opening season Thursday.
Oh, that's right.
Is the 5th, and then the 8th is the starting.
Correct.
Okay. So let me explain something to you.
You don't think by September 8th he can pull this off?
No, dude.
All right,
I don't think you guys understand how serious an Achilles tear is.
No, man. Modern science.
For a guy that spends most of his time exploding off of that.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, you can play a position where you can kind of ease into it.
Huh. So you're saying
when he gets on the field, he's going to be on in the 3-point stance or standing up, rushing the passer. So he's going to have to put all of his weight on that foot, on that Achilles. So you can't just because he run a straight line don't mean he's ready for that.
But the ladder drills too. Remember the ladder drills?
Again, barefoot.
Yeah.
Barefoot, so he doesn't get a lot of traction, but he can still get some of the work in. Dude,
I don't like this. Luis Benito says Phillips is nowhere near. Look at his Achilles leg. All the muscle is gone. Is that true?
You're gonna have a lot of atrophy because you're not putting the same amount of weight on it. But like, dude, like, stop. You guys are being ridiculous with this.
So when do you think realistically he would be back playing football? Obviously, there's going to be time for him to be.
I would say
good, but
if it's a remarkable recovery, middle of October.
Remarkable would be middle of October. Oh, that's good. You're giving me so much time. According to David Furones,
but I would say to be safe, around Thanksgiving.
He says that he couldn't walk 4 months ago.
Right.
But now look at him. He's doing ladder drills.
But if you can't walk, think of the atrophy on that leg.
Yeah.
On the calf. Okay, listen, think about this.
Can't put any pressure on.
Most Achilles tears start off with what? A calf strain, because your calf isn't strong enough. So if you haven't been able to walk, that means you ain't putting no kind of pressure on that calf. You can't just start jumping and running around if your calf is not there yet, because that is one of the supporters of that Achilles.
Cap for Life believes JP will be back week 8, perhaps.
And when is week 8? Middle of October and beginning of November.
Probably even further. Yeah. Beginning of November, yeah.
Right. Then
I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that.
So who cares? It's an injury. It ain't he feels like I'll just come back then.
Nah, you guys don't believe. You got to believe sometimes.
I believe 100%. That's why I'm telling y'all this.
Yeah.
Like you like
you said it yourself. We don't know how severe the tear was. What if it wasn't that? It was like a minuscule tear.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Based on the information that we have so far.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen him do. Right? He's not doing any cutting with shoes on.
Yeah.
So that means he's trying to get work in without putting any real pressure on the turning or twisting of that Achilles.
Date South says that he says it was a rupture. Is that better or worse?
No, rupture is totally torn.
Damn it. I thought that was better.
Rupture.
Yeah. I thought that was better for some reason. I was like, oh, look, not fully torn, just ruptured.
But here's what I would say.
Like fractured.
With knee injuries,
yeah.
Sometimes it's better if you have a full tear than a partial tear. Because then you're only you see what I'm saying? So but I don't know with Achilles, dude. Achilles is a tough thing. Right? Every time somebody says, listen to me, every time somebody says to me, oh, he's out with a calf strain. What did I tell you? Be careful.
Achilles, yep.
Be careful.
Yep.
But for you guys to just like think about this.
He's doing so well.
This is what Tobin brings to the table.
Yep.
I had dead foot. That's his introduction to injuries. He ain't never had a broken bone, nothing.
Which we found out this is actually dead foot. This is Messi's foot from the Copa America.
That ain't what Tobin had.
No, that's actual dead foot right there.
Oh, remember the Brett Favre when his whole leg was black and blue?
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't understand what guys play with.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm telling you, Achilles is of all the injuries to have at that position. The Achilles is one of the tougher because guess what? Your get off is predicated on said Achilles. Yeah. So you got to be extra careful. If you bring him back too soon, he go out there and get hyped up for a game and go to explode off of that thing and re-tear it. Then what? Everybody's going to say, why'd you bring him back so soon?
Yeah, true.
So
I am kind of worried that I've heard nothing.
And he's a young player. Even more so to take your time.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If he gets re-injured and then his contract is up, what are you going to do? See what I'm saying?
He ain't getting that back from me.
So you think he's going to come back and risk it?
No, but I just think he's Iron Man. And I don't mean Iron Man as in Robert Downey Jr. I mean Iron Man as in...
He can be Iron Man all he wants.
Yeah.
But that Achilles ain't going to allow him to do nothing until he's ready.
All right. Well, I guess we'll keep monitoring. Leroy says end of October, early November.
And that'd be a quick recovery.
Yeah. I mean, less than a year at that point. Because it was Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
And,
right. So like that'll be 11 months. And then guess what?
Yeah.
And then when he comes back, he's going to be limited.
Yeah, he's got to get back to game speed and stuff like that.
Well, not even that. They're going to limit the amount of plays he plays because you don't know. The way they're going to wrap it, he's going to look like he's hobbling because they're going to try to protect it. Like, man, stop it with that. I mean, even when Adrian Peterson came back with his knee, he still didn't look right. He still was running funny. Even though he ran for 2,000.
Crazy, though. Crazy he was able to come back.
But he didn't look. He didn't look. He was still wobbling a little bit. He had all of the, but they had to wrap it up. They wanted to protect it. So he didn't look like Adrian Peterson, but he was still good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I'll
That's
say
the knee though. It's not an Achilles.
Well, I think Jaelan Phillips is going to set the new precedent in regards to Achilles recovery.
Okay.
Have a great season.
Okay.
Week 1.
Okay.
Now, when we come back, Leroy, we are going to rank the top uniforms in South Florida sports as a new contestant has entered the bunch. Want your opinion on this and much more when we come back on the Tobin and Leroy Show.
la 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 long, long. Hey.
Welcome back to the Tobin and Leroy show. Tobin out, Leroy in here holding down the fort. JFig in the background there holding down the video control.
Not 12 o'clock yet.
Nope, not 12 o'clock yet, which is going to be significant today for two reasons. One of them being JFig will make her appearance, and the second one being Dan Day is actually going to take over for me from noon to 2.
Boy.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
You got to bring in a closer sometimes, you know. I missed the first 6 innings. You know, I need a closer.
What are we doing?
Man, I need a closer in. And unfortunately, our normal guy, Dono, is covering Hawk and Crowder today. Yeah. So it will be a Louisiana connection.
I'll probably, see, my problem is, if I'm going to take off, it's because I have to do something.
Yeah.
If I don't have to do something, then I don't need a rest day.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun.
No, it really is. I was thinking this yesterday, how blessed I am based off the relationship that we all have with each other, that I can come to work and just talk sports with my friends. You know, this isn't a forced relationship that I have.
Although everybody thinks I hate Tobin.
People, you know what? People have the wrong misconception of you for many reasons. They think you hate Tobin. They think that you're some angry guy. They probably think that you're mean, but you're actually one of the most generous people that I know.
I'm not. But you know what? It's like, as you get older, you decide there are things that you're going to take a stand on that you just will not tolerate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And that's where I am. And so I think there's too many people in this world that get a pass to behave any kind of way they want to, because they can just turn around and say that person is being a Karen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I spent half my life getting booed by half of the people I played in front of. So you getting mad at me don't do a damn thing to me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
back of the line.
Right. So like, no. But until, and there's been times where Big Spoon is like, yo, you need to let this one go. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, you're probably right. Right. You're probably right. And there's not, I'm not one of those people that's going to keep it, you know, in my gut forever, you know. But if I have a problem with something, I'm not going to have that on my chest. I didn't do nothing. Yeah. I'm going to let you have it. If you got a problem with it, then be better. That's what
it's just accountability, Leroy. That's it.
Just think about this. Yep. You also have to understand the sport that I played. You understand the people that go to games and watch these athletes. And the compassion and understanding you want me to have, do you have that when your player fails on the football field? So I never got that. So now that I'm in the real world, right? Yeah. And I have that same kind of, from the time I was 18 years old to the time I was 34.
Yeah.
Right? The attitude that I didn't get no passes. I didn't get no understanding. I didn't get no, hey, he's playing hurt. Let's cut him a break. No. You either do or you don't. That was it. You either win or you lose.
Very true. Absolutely.
So if an athlete comes in and he have that same attitude in life, I don't get mad at him. He's been living under those rules forever.
Yeah.
As a young kid to now. It just sucks that the hardest thing in the world to realize, and it was hard for me to get, that the rules that I had to live by for most of my life, nobody else in the world could live by those rules.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because I tell you what, if I call a business and I say, so-and-so told me this. Well, that wasn't me. You will throw your coworker under the bus in a heartbeat. What if the quarterback? What if the quarterback were to say, "Well, he just got to catch the damn ball"?
Yeah, true. That's
You
not
know
the
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to understand that. Them's the breaks. You live by a set of rules that nobody else lives by.
Now, during this time, as you were playing sports, there's times where you had to suit up in some pretty sweet uniforms.
Yeah. Well, not me.
Not Cleveland.
Yeah. I had the Browns. I remember 1 year. You remember when everybody had those ridiculous throwbacks?
Yep.
Right? Yep. We said, Bill, we gonna wear our throwbacks. We thought we was gonna kick the orange pants or the orange jersey or something. He goes, "You're wearing them." I wouldn't mind if Cleveland came out with the white helmet.
No, that was nice. Cincinnati had that white helmet last year.
Yeah, Cincinnati had that white helmet.
Well, the Inter Miami soccer team has released some new uniforms. Have you had a chance to see them, Leroy?
No, I thought you were talking about football. You were talking about football.
Football, yes, indeed. Yeah. This is the new Inter Miami Dolphin themed jerseys they have.
Hey, by the way, can I just say something to Game Ops?
Yeah.
Don't put a turquoise uniform in a turquoise background. Like, isn't that 101? Like,
yeah,
right?
For sure. No, definitely.
I like them though. I like that. I like that.
Cool.
Are they gonna do the other color though?
What do you mean?
Like reverse the colors?
Oh, like orange jersey.
Yeah, because
I'm a fan of the orange
do that. I like those Dolphins orange jerseys.
I'm a fan of them. I think Leroy, you and I are the only two people who like the Dolphins orange jersey.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
I tell you what, that color rush when they were all that was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like that one necessarily. Orange on orange, I'm not a fan of, but I had some ideas.
So they had the teal on teal.
Teal on teal. We also had I remember one year we had the color rush orange on orange, and I remember colorblind people being very pissed.
Oh, remember they had two teams that had the same like it was
I think they had like it was Bills versus Jets, and it was like red and green, and those happen to be the two colors that colorblind people can't really tell the difference on. So it was definitely an issue. But yeah, what do you think this lands? Do you think this immediately puts it in the top 5 jerseys in South Florida?
No.
I like the Miami Heat Vice jerseys.
I'm gonna go Miami Heat Vice.
The throwback Dolphins jerseys are good.
But see, the throwback Dolphin jersey, the only thing different is the damn dolphin.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? But I like all versions of the Dolphins jerseys.
Yeah, Miami Heat jerseys. Not only
the Heat are number one. They could put maybe 3 or 4 uniforms up before this one comes up.
Yeah, true.
The Marlins. I like the vest.
Oh yeah, the old school Marlins ones are good.
The old school Marlins ones.
Yeah. What do you think of the red sugarcane Marlins ones that they have?
I like the wasn't that the Cuba
yeah, something like
that. I like those. I like the red ones. I like those.
Yeah. Classic Canes jersey. I don't know. I'm just a fan of that orange.
I like the Canes. They change it up a little bit.
Yep.
I like their new stuff more than the old stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? I just and maybe it's just the way the whole uniform, is put together. But I like the newer stuff. I like, and then they came out with all black one time.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
All right, so this one doesn't necessarily make the top 5 then.
Well, no, and can we say, like, listen, Inter Miami, you keep trying because you're newer to this.
Yeah.
Like, we talking about teams that have been around forever.
Yep.
So we have more of a pick.
True.
You know what I mean? But I would go and keep in mind the Heat are 1.
Yeah.
They could go 3, 4.
Yeah.
Right. Because every year, we go Vice, we go,
Vice,
like right. Like when we go
the red throwbacks are good too.
Yeah, the red. I go with the red.
Yeah. All right. Well, good try, Inter Miami. We'll wear it, but
I appreciate your efforts.
Yeah.
I would go I would think that they would kick the orange first. That's usually the go-to, like for even the Dolphins when they want a nice little pop.
Yep.
You know, some jersey sales, they kicked that orange.
Yeah.
So if I was Miami, I would have maybe went all orange with the teal writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or do something like do something like the Heat. You
Yeah.
know, and kind of because they can mix it up like that.
All right, when we come back, a New Orleans
When
connection.
I come back,
When Leroy comes back, a New Orleans connection with our boy Dan Day, who will be able to tell us how his mom and them doing. More Tobin and Leroy when we come back.
Join
Do not adjust your listening device. Marcos has stepped out. I am Dan Day filling in for the final 2 hours of the show. Seems like it's an all New Orleans cast right now with my Wody, Leroy Horde. Of course, he's 9th ward. I'm 7th ward. So, I'm not messing with you, Leroy. You go ahead, man. Nobody messes with
I tell people all the time, they don't understand the area that I grew up in.
No.
It make Liberty City look like Boca.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the murder capital of the world when you grew up there, by the way. Murder capital of the world.
Capital of the world.
That's not overstatement.
Hey, there was a body under the bridge every night.
Yes.
Under that industrial canal bridge. In the back by the projects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whew. Yeah, rough times. I was there recently and someone was like, I really want to drive through the 9th ward. It sounds like it's really cool. I was like, what?
Yeah, to say you've been there. That's it.
You're not missing much. I want to see that houses Brad Pitt built. You're not missing much.
No.
But we're on to bigger and better things. We're here in South Florida now. And I see the big news that's been trending for basically the past 24 hours. Brandon Ayuk, he's demanded a trade from San Francisco, and they're saying, would trading Ayuk be a huge deal for the 49ers? Of course, he's entering the final year of his rookie contract. He wanted the extension, did not get the extension that he wanted. Now he's asking for a trade. He would take in a huge haul. Am I correct, Leroy?
Yes and no. Because you have to understand that anybody who trades for him have to give him a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you taking a load off of San Francisco, who doesn't want to pay him. So there's that. The other thing is, if you look at the teams that could actually use him, besides, I want to say Washington, they don't have a lot of capital. Cleveland gave away all their first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Buffalo is a dumpster fire right now with all of the defensive guys that are gone, and they got rid of Diggs. They could maybe use him, but they got to find some money. And so a lot of the teams where he would fit probably aren't in need of his talents just yet. So I don't think, listen, could Washington use him? Absolutely. They have capital. They can do, a lot of things they can do. But are they ready for him? So say if it takes 2 or 3 years, you done gave him a big contract. By the time your thing going, your thing together, or your act together, now you got to give him another contract.
But wouldn't it be worth it with having a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels to have that type of weapon?
Yes, but they're not there yet. They're not as a team.
Isn't that what people said about the Texans last year?
As a team, they aren't to the point. Well, see, here's the difference. Houston had a number of picks to build. They had a lot of first rounders that hit right away on the defensive end and their quarterback. So after they saw where it was going, they brought in Diggs. Not before. This would be the equivalent to them bringing in Diggs last year without knowing and giving him a boatload of money. No, they brought him in after, when they go, okay, here's what he can add to what we already have. Washington doesn't know what they have yet. They don't know what they're going to need yet. They don't know what areas they have to fill. If you go drafting for a guy to say, oh, we're going to get out, what if your quarterback don't get no protection and Ayuk only catches 60 balls because they don't have enough time to get him the ball? Now you wasted money and resources when you probably should have got an offensive line. So there's a lot of decisions that have to be made there, but I like the way Houston did it, in that now they're adding pieces. Before last year, they want to see, let's see where all these young guys are. Let's see if all these first rounders and these high picks are going to be what we think they're going to be. Let's see what our quarterback is first before we start spending money on pieces that may not even help.
Okay, so if you like the wait and see attitude of the Texans, do you like the wait and see attitude of the Dolphins right now with Tua Tagovailoa? Or let's see what he has this year before we give him the contract.
Different situation though.
Okay.
I would say this. If for this reason and this reason only, why I would extend Tua. Because you did everything you could as an organization to screw him his first 2 years. Right? And now you want to hold that against him and say, we don't know if he's there yet. You understand what I'm saying? Like that. And yeah, he had the year, but I tell guys this all the time. Day and day, everybody has one of those years. Have one of those years where you just suck it up and play. Right? I had my third year, right? I partially tore my ACL in the first preseason game. And I was out for like a month. And I came back and I limped with a brace on for the rest of the year. And you know what my team did to reward me? They say, you got to give some of that money back. Right. You see what I'm saying? So while we sitting here, and everybody's like, oh, he fell off. Oh, he ain't worth the new contract you gave him and this and that. Only my team knew what I was going through, and they didn't even acknowledge it. You see what I'm saying? The fact that they're not paying him or making it sound like those first 2 years, you didn't do everything you could to make sure his stay wasn't pleasant. And now, after playing 2 good years, you want to say we need to see more? If you had supported him from the beginning, you would already know.
Yeah, well, Tua getting screwed. We're going to get into that in the next segment. Right now, we got to get some headlines that are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks. And I love the way fans do that too. Well, he hasn't won a playoff game. He hasn't done this. Do you understand? How, just think about if you went to your workplace, the people that hired you, that brought you in, went out of their way to sabotage what you were trying to do. And then when it was time to re-up, they say, well, we can't give you a raise because we don't know. It's because of you.
I always bring that up when people get paid big amounts of money, and my mom, Big Lynn, or other people going, that's ridiculous they get paid that much. I always go, did you ever turn down a pay raise? And they always go, oh, that's different. That's different. What if your job wasn't willing to pay you what you felt you were worth? Wouldn't you have some problems with it? But it's different because it's you in this instance. And it's not, well, Tua should just be happy to be on the team. Are you just happy to be in your workplace and making whatever they decide and deem to make? No.
Exactly. So
for people to be gone, that's like the pot calling the kettle black to me.
And that's why, Dan, I hate guys under contract holding out. I really hate it. But I'm never going to say anything bad about the player, because guess what? What people fail to realize is, on the other side of that, if they sign you to a 5-year deal and don't like what you're doing after 2, they can cut you and you don't get nothing.
Whoop. Done.
So what about that side of it? So all these teams that have a problem with players, and I love this when they come out and say, well, he's under contract. You don't say that when you cut him.
No.
You don't say it when he's a June 1st casualty. You say, oh, we had to make some moves and it's unfortunate. Okay, well, when the player gets in that chance and he's got the big stick and he's standing on top of the mountain and he's holding that stick and he's saying, no, my turn. I can't be mad at him. You've set the tone. These organizations have set the tone for guys holding out, because you can cut them at any time, whenever you want. You don't get any kind of money, right? And you don't get the rest of your contract. So when you have it that way, then I can't be mad when a player who's under contract holds out, even though I hate it.
Yeah. And what I say is, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. They always are to the players saying, it's a business. You have to approach it like a business. But yet the organization gets a flyer like, oh, and the organization has to know it's a business too.
Right.
sitting out because I want to get paid.
Exactly. You know, for the Dolphins, I don't want them. Look, one of the things that usually GMs take pride in, right, is a guy that they drafted, having him play a long time on your team, right? They wear that as a badge of honor. That goes to the people that scouted him, that goes to the people that selected him, that goes to the people that paid him, right? When you let a guy go that you drafted and you let him walk for free, and he ends up being a hell of a player, which I think Christian Wilkins is, I would hate to see them back themselves into a corner again, because what people fail to realize, okay, I can sign Tua to a $250 million contract, and I can give him 140 and 150 guaranteed. His average is going to be over 50 million, right? But if I franchise him and got to pay him $53 million, that's $53 million against the cap right now, the whole bill. And you really hamstring yourself by franchising a quarterback. You really handcuff yourself, because now you're counting the whole, no other quarterback. All these quarterbacks making all that money, nobody's counting full weight against the cap except for the Browns. But they counting full weight of the money that they would franchise him to. And that will hamstring you more than if you just gave him a contract that average $55 million a year, right? But it don't count that way against the cap.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get into more of the Tua, like I said, getting screwed in just a minute, but I got to get to these headlines. The Heat, they do face the Mavericks today at 3 at Las Vegas Summer League. Jaime Jaquez Jr. done for Summer League. He played his 2 games. He balled out. We're happy about it. It's done. It's over.
He should have balled out, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he played 75 games. He played 75 games against all-stars, against Hall of Famers, against guys who against stars in the league. You go back down to G League, that's like me going from the Pro Bowl and then going back and playing in my college spring game, right?
NFL Europe, maybe.
Right, exactly. So he should have done that. He got his work in. You know, I kind of eased up a little bit, right? I eased up a little bit as far as I didn't want him to play at all. He played more games than anybody on the team, right? And now you got him playing again while everybody else is, and you're going to need him. You're going to need these young guys, especially now that Jovic is hurt. Got a broken ankle, right?
The Heat are saying that it's a sprain, and everybody else is saying it's fractured.
Same difference. Like, listen, whether you call it a sprain or a fracture, he ain't going to be able to do nothing until he get healthy. Right.
Now, a lot of people don't realize he hurt it at the Kaseya Center doing drills. People are like, "Oh, you shouldn't have been playing for Serbia." That's not what happened.
He got
hurt. Was at Kaseya Center.
Yeah.
So they can't blame the international basketball on it. Speaking of being hurt internationally, Lionel Messi will not be playing tonight for Inter Miami when they take on Toronto at 7:30. Yes, he's also not going to play Saturday when they take on the Chicago Fire. He's got a hamstring and an ankle now.
Yeah, one. You know what he's got?
Age
37 years on that body,
and that's a
lot of soccer. So when you talk about hammy, look at that, dude. Woo! Like, you know what it looks like? It looks like somebody put one of them donuts that you warm up with a bat around his ankle, right?
No wonder he was crying so much on the sidelines the other night.
Everybody say he cried because he couldn't play. No, he cried because it hurt.
Yeah, it looked like he was crying because he couldn't play. Crying because that hurt. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
The Inter Miami will debut their new Miami Dolphins inspired kits Saturday at Chase Stadium. Have you seen those new kits?
I saw them. Look just like Miami Dolphins. I would been. So they have the pink and they have the black.
I like
right?
the Rosa with the black.
I would have gone orange because orange seems to be the throwback for all the various teams down here, right? except for the Heat have their own thing. But when you think of the Canes, when they kick that orange, the Dolphins orange is fire, right?
Mhm.
I would have went orange. But I was wondering, because they have the teal, do they flip it at some point?
Mhm.
You see what I mean? So
Yeah, in soccer, they have so many different kits for so many different leagues and so many
but
different
it's
games.
weird down here because their colors are pink and black, right? And then they go, that's kind of even the Heat mashup. They go
Right.
black and pink, but they still have their team colors in it.
Yeah, it's not totally crazy for soccer to do that, though. They have no loyalty to their original colors.
No
They really
loyalty.
don't. Like, you're like, what is this doing here? Why is
Right.
it orange? And yeah,
Right.
okay, we'll see. And real quick, Red Sox, Jaron Duran hit a go-ahead 2-run home run in the bottom of the 5th to lead the AL past the NL in the All-Star game last night. He was named MVP. Paul Skeens was the talk of the town in the first inning. They had Livy Dunn on every 5 seconds. He looked good. She looked good. It was just kind of fun to watch.
Except for the national anthem.
Yes, the national anthem was crazy. I have a theory on that. We don't have time right now to get into it. Maybe later in the show we'll get into my theory on what they should do with the national anthem at all United States sporting events. But what we're going to do is take a break, Leroy, and we're going to talk about, you said it first, Tua got screwed those first 2 years. There could be a little more evidence that you're right about that. That is after this here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Back on the Tobin and Leroy show, running up till 4 o'clock. Tobin on vacation. Marcos having to take care of some other business. That means it is Leroy, Figgy, and myself, Dan Day. Told you before the break, Leroy, you're dead on pretty much about Tua Tagovailoa getting screwed by the Miami Dolphins organization those first 2 years.
And let me clarify something.
He did.
I would say this. The position that the Dolphins are in with Tua, or as much their fault as you want to put it on Tua, based on if you want to find out if your quarterback is good enough, you do everything you can to support him the second he gets here, so that in 4 years you will know. If you waste 2 years, because let's all be clear, okay? And this is a fact. When Tua got drafted, he was not supposed to play the first year. He was supposed to heal and rehab. Remember that? Everybody's like, don't worry about it. He's not going to play the first year. He's going to get his hip right. And mysteriously, with no offseason to strengthen himself, with no offseason to get his body ready for NFL football, he was playing quarterback. So you didn't even stick to your own plan. So, yeah, it was some mistakes, but to be in this situation now, and for anybody to say, well, we just don't know about Tua. Well, answer the question why. And you can say, oh, because they ever won a playoff game? Well, because you only got quarterback Tua for the last 2 years.
Yeah. And this is the thing about Tua also, is that I keep asking this question. What's your other option? Is there any other better option?
Because here, think about this. Here's what people think, and it drives me crazy. Let's just get somebody in the draft.
It's easy.
Yeah, easy. You know, it's one of the hardest things in the world. I'll give you a perfect example. Recently, right? CJ Stroud versus
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
No, I'm not saying Bryce Young won't be a good quarterback.
But look at what CJ Stroud is.
Yep.
Right? I'll give you another example. Ryan Leaf versus Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It happens. Dan Marino was drafted in the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't act like you can just pick up another guy. Patrick Mahomes. If you knew what you knew now, he'd be the first pick in the draft. He wasn't. In fact, there was only one team that moved up to get him, and they were and everybody was shocked that Kansas City moved up to get him.
I actually watched some Patrick Mahomes games at Texas Tech. Nothing extraordinary. Nothing that would say he's going to be the greatest quarterback against the blitz of all time.
Right.
I watched games. I said, oh, he's okay. Maybe he'll be a backup in the NFL. Like, that's just me being honest.
What about Tom Brady?
Tom Brady?
Nobody thought he was going to be. He was good in college.
He had the Drew Henson issue, though.
Put it this way. Tom Brady was better in college than Patrick Mahomes was.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Right. And he ended up being one of the last picks in the draft.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a hit or miss thing. Like, if you have a quarterback that has any amount of talent, you have to support him and you have to pay him, because you know what? I'm curious if fans would wonder this. Would you like to start this cycle over again?
Yeah, because that's what you're doing if you have to find a new quarterback.
So why don't you just support the guy you have?
Because you know Tyreek and those guys, they don't want to start over with a new quarterback.
Right. And here's the thing, Dan. They asked me, well, Tua hasn't won a playoff game. I get that. Okay. I understand that. But I understand more than anybody, it's a team sport and things happen. And I put a lot of the blame, believe it or not, on the adjustments that the coaching staff makes from first half to second half against these better teams. Right? It only happens against the better teams. You don't ever really get blown out. You're in the game going into halftime. You come back out the second half, you can't move the ball offensively because the defense makes some adjustments and you haven't adjusted. That's on coaching.
Mm-hmm.
It could be on the players, the plays being made also. I'm not going to put it on all coaching, but they play a role in that, because I've always said I need to see what are your adjustments when they defend you, right? But all that being said, you understand that this is the only quarterback that I've ever heard of to lead the league in passing, and everybody call it empty stats. Right? Like, it means nothing. Tua does something. Let me explain to you guys this. This is what Tua does that makes him unique. Okay? There's only one other quarterback, a couple other quarterbacks that do this. One was Drew Brees. The ability to throw timing routes in an area of the field that no quarterback likes throwing the football, and that's down the middle of the field. Quarterbacks don't like throwing the ball down the middle of the field. Too much action in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The fact that he can get rid of the ball and make decisions quickly in the middle of the field makes him unique. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can do that. And you can talk about his arm, and you can talk about this, and you can talk about that. But those things right there are factual. For anybody that knows anything about football to discredit those two traits are leading you astray.
And doesn't the bar for Tua just keep changing? At first, it's get us a winning record. We need a winning record. Get you that. Check the box. Second, now you have to stay healthy for a year. Stay healthy. Checks the box. Lead the league in passing. Leads the league in passing. Check the box. Now, the bar has now been risen and changed. It's like, oh, well, yeah, you had winning seasons, and you led the league in passing, and you stayed healthy. You've done everything we've asked. Now you need to win playoff games. It just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. But yet, they're not rewarding him for hitting these benchmarks.
They're not. And part of the reason why is because now the cost has gotten really high. I get that. But guess what? It got really high because you waited.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
You know that.
Right? And so what do you think tomorrow's price is going to be? If I were the Miami Dolphins and I saw all those other quarterbacks that were available, that were getting ready to sign contracts, I would have made sure that my guy signed before them. Absolutely made sure. Because now, the way quarterbacks work, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter what you've done, but you get an increase of what the last guy signed of about 5%.
And the salary cap keeps going up.
Right. So from that standpoint, like, are people willing to here's what you're thinking. If he wins a playoff game and goes the next year and they have a really good year, you're going to owe him $60+ million.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's going to be your own doing.
Yes. And then when you can't pay other players, whose fault is that?
Right.
Your own.
Right.
Because you had to wait and see attitude.
Because you had to wait and see attitude.
Even though you knew you were going to be with Tua the whole time.
With a position that you really can't be wait and see.
Yeah.
I would say, as of right now, the way this offense is run, with all the guys getting paid ahead of Tua, there's maybe only one or two of them that could play in this offense and be as productive as Tua.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy. Because they all play different. Josh Allen holds on to the ball. Patrick Mahomes holds on to the ball. Jordan Love holds on to the ball. Herbert holds on to the ball. Trevor Lawrence holds on to the ball. It's not timing with them. They're big guys. They hold on to the ball. Okay, when you look at smaller quarterbacks, they got to make quicker decisions and get rid of the ball quick to avoid the serious hits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Tua flourishes.
And this offense was made for him.
Right, exactly.
But no, we'll just go in the draft. We'll find somebody.
Yeah.
For cheap, that'll be better.
Oh,
easy.
yeah.
Easy, very easy, very easy.
I would like the list. Out of curiosity, the people that don't think that Tua is worth the money. I want you to really seriously think, right? What other quarterbacks, and you can put Tua's numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
What other quarterbacks would be able to do the getting rid of the ball in 2.2 seconds, throwing the ball down the field, which people said he couldn't do, right? His accuracy. I would like to know what other quarterbacks do you think could do that, right? Because a lot of the bigger quarterbacks are built to hold on to the football.
And that's what I get a lot of people out and about, as I'm always out, telling me Tua ain't the guy. I go, well, then who is the guy realistically? And they go,
It's kind of one of those things in any conversation that you have, right? One of the funniest things I like to see on Twitter and on Instagram, right, is they'll ask a person, why do you support said candidate? Right? And they'll ask them a series of questions. And half of the time, they can't even answer the questions.
No.
Right? And so what I would say to you about Tua, everybody has the same thing. Hasn't won a playoff game. Well, nobody else has in the last 24 years. So you want to just keep going until a guy comes in and wins a playoff game his first year? Like, at what point do you think, and let's not make it sound like, please, be honest about the situation. You had a coach for whatever reason that did not want Tua playing quarterback.
I'm glad you bring that up, Leroy. There may be more evidence that this coach did not like Tua. We're going to get into that next here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Maybe some more talk on the organization, especially Brian Flores, not being 100% behind Tua from very much day one. Our dude from the Miami Herald, Omar Kelly, recently tweeted, "The real story, I'm told, never fully confirmed, is that Flores wanted to draft an offensive tackle, not sure which one, and then come back with Jordan Love with the 18th pick. Flores was never fully on board with Tua for various reasons, and Safedin's story about how he roughed Tua up at the combine verifies this. Flores clearly sought a quarterback who can endure the abuse he saw Brady take from Belichick. Not healthy, but it's what it is."
Again, here's what you have to understand about how that situation was toxic. Tua did not ask to be drafted by the Dolphins. You drafted him.
He did come out and say that he would love to play for the Dolphins. His family, remember, they were out there like, we'd love to be in Miami.
You say that when you think that's where you're going to be drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'm just saying, still, you drafted him.
Right. You have the
Why on earth would you not give him all the support as a top 5 pick?
Right.
Like, do people understand how messed up that is? Do you know the injustice that is to any player? If a coach says a top 5 pick, I don't like him, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure because I wanted somebody else. Do you understand the problems that could cause? And guess what? Tua toed the line the whole time. I don't know what his career is going to be from here on out. I don't. But I tell you what, after those first 2 years and having him bounce back the last 2 years, I respect the hell out of him. Because I know a whole bunch of players that would have lost their damn mind.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if any of us were in that position where somebody brought us in and our manager didn't want us there and he played defense against everything you did, you'd lose your mind. So think about this. Tua didn't sign as a free agent. He was drafted by the Dolphins. So you come to the Dolphins, you make an assumption. Everybody wants you to play well.
It's an assumption.
Right. I would just say, just out of being honest with yourself, how many of us could play under those conditions? The circumstances of knowing you got drafted somewhere and the coach that is your head coach doesn't want you there.
We've seen men of the same stature crumble under something like that, and rightfully so. I mean, it's got to be demoralizing that every step you take.
Absolutely.
But that brings me to other. You're the guy to ask, Leroy, for this other part of the statement where possibly maybe Brian Flores had learned under Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick was kind of hard on Tom Brady. You played for Bill Belichick. Was he hard on quarterbacks?
Here's the kicker.
It's a different age.
Here's what you have to understand about Bill Belichick. Tom Brady could take it. And so he used Tom Brady as an example, and everybody else followed. Because if you're doing that to Tom Brady, I know I better keep my bleep together. Right? That was the whole thing. Okay? Listen, Tom Brady was not soft. He was a tough dude. And it showed with how he played, how he went about his work. So basically, Bill used that, knowing that one way or another, it ain't going to mess with Tom Brady. And that's how you get a team to follow. Now, the one thing that I would say about the Brian Flores Tua thing, at some point, Tua had to earn Brian Flores' respect. Because you were hard on him. You didn't want him. You put him through the ringer. You did all this stuff to him. And still he went out and played.
He did play.
Right? And he still told the company line. There's a lot of players nowadays that would look for the excuse, the way out.
Maybe demand a trade.
Right. He didn't do that. So, like, I don't understand why. I get if people don't want to re-sign Tua, but at least acknowledge the full story of Tua before you come to that conclusion. Don't just come at me and say he's been 4 years, he's been here 4 years and haven't won a playoff game.
Yeah, well, that's
right. That's the easy way out. Right? Because guess what? Can we say that for Deshaun Watson? They won a playoff game. He wasn't the quarterback, but he was on the team. So now you can't say, oh, they haven't had a playoff win since whenever. They got rid of Baker Mayfield. He won a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
They just use a different reason.
Yeah. So you go after Josh Allen and say you can't beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. You get beat every year by him.
Right. What do you say about see, the thing that I say about Josh Allen is Josh Allen's the new Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's 100% accurate. Not 100, but very accurate.
He is going to be the guy that's going to make some incredible plays, but at crunch time, he's going to be the guy to throw that pick. And you live or die with Josh Allen. So be it. I get it. I understand it. Right? They support him. They backed him up. He had what? Till his third year before he was anything?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, think of all the quarterbacks. Now, keep in mind, let's go through the list. You would take Jordan Love before Tua. A lot of people say that.
Sounds like Brian Flores wanted that.
Right. But here's the deal. Jordan Love sat for what, 3 years?
Yeah, Jordan Love sat for a while. Everybody's like, he's a rookie quarterback. I'm like, he's not a rookie.
Patrick Mahomes sat for how long? 1 year?
He sat for a year, yes.
And he received a 13-3 team. Let's not forget that.
And Andy Reid.
Right?
That helps.
So, right. So like, let's look at these situations. Oh, let's look at Justin Herbert. Okay. How's that working out? He's giving up the biggest lead in the history of damn near the playoffs. Right? Trevor Lawrence got to win. You sold on Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence fell apart last season at the end of the year.
Right.
Like, these teams are riding with their guys at least and signing the contracts.
We're the only team. Because they made an investment of type 5 pick.
Yeah. We're the only team kind of waiting and seeing instead of.
Listen, we can justify in life everything that we do or don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But don't come here and tell me you support your guys. Don't tell me, oh, you have a lot of respect for your guy. Because, again, if there's one organization that should have all the faith in the world as what kind of warrior Tua is, look at what you did to him his first 2 years.
Look what he's been through and come back from and done. And also, like we said, the bar keeps raising. He keeps answering the call. I'm guessing the Dolphins think, asking to win a Super Bowl. Eventually he'll do that. And I guess we'll pay him then.
Right.
It's weird.
It's just a weird situation that we take one snippet out of those first 4 years of Tua and not include the whole story. If you tell me the whole story and then say, you know what, we're 2 years behind Tua because we didn't support him right away, I respect that. And that's why you don't know, right? But if Tua had these first 2 years, the first 2 years, guess what? He would have already been re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
See? Think of it that way. If Tua had done that his rookie year and his second year led the league in passing, he would have already been re-signed. And then had the next 2 years that he had the first years, we'd have a new coach and he'd be banged up, but Tua would be signed.
And
think of how crazy that sounds.
Right? Timing, it's everything. Might cost the Dolphins a lot of money. We'll wait and see.
Ooh, Cat for Life said worst collapse in franchise history last year. Last time I checked, Flores was not our head coach. Okay. And this is not to defend Tua. But why was it the worst
collapse in franchise history?
No, it wasn't. Believe me, it wasn't. Right. But I'll hear him out. like the defense kept you in the game, even with all the injuries that they had, right? Tyreek was banged up. Waddle out?
Yeah,
for
he was banged up.
Waddle was banged up. You had a lot of injuries, right? I'm not going to just sit here and say, you got to find a way to do it. You got to find a way to win. But to just put it all on one guy.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's tough.
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get back into this and more. Final hour of the show, Tobin and Leroy at 560 WQAM. Final hour of the Tobin and Leroy show. Tobin, vacation. Marcos, taking care of business. Dan Day with you right now. Leroy, Horde. And hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Daniel. How are you?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Very excited. It is hump day, getting over the hump, and just ready to hang out, have a good time.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
I know you guys have gotten into the whole national anthem thing that happened for the home run derby. Ingrid Andress, not the best effort by her. A couple things I want to pick out about that. I guess I'll start with a positive. My thought on the national anthem is, and maybe it's because I'm a United States guy and the national anthem maybe isn't, to me, this holy grail. It's very important. It's valuable. But I think what they should do at sporting events is do what soccer does in international games. Just play the instrumental and let the crowd sing along. Why do we have to have someone go out there and forget the words and do all this? Does it really add anything? I would prefer if they just say, now rise for the national anthem, duh, 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 and people can just sing along if they want.
Don't some people also pre-record it?
Yes.
Yes.
That should have been a thought.
Right.
Well, that's my other thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. She should have recorded it before her first little drinky drink.
Yeah.
So, for some reason, I can't wrap my head around this, but during the show yesterday, when we were hearing it back to back for the first half of the show, really, it didn't sound as bad as until I went home and heard it again a couple times.
And then you're like, woof.
I was like, wow.
It sounded like a fifth grader who was doing a Make-A-Wish saying the national anthem.
I just don't get it because once again, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that that actually happened, because I do think she's a very talented singer. So the fact that this happened, or her people allowed her to go out like that, I don't understand. I really want to understand.
Right. So she's blamed it on the alcohol, saying that she was hammered and that.
And I did see the video. She did kind of look pretty
couple
hammered.
things. Number one, if she has alcohol problems and she is a performer, she's probably performed drunk a lot in her life and should know what she's doing. Right?
Okay.
Well, they do perform on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they're fine. Mick Jagger, goodness gracious, couldn't tell.
But some people can't handle it like others.
So maybe it's too big of a stage.
No one's the same.
So she's hammered. The person checking with her, you ready to go, Ingrid? Whoa, you don't look right. Either.
But what do you? But here's the thing. Yep, I know, Scooby. I know. She shouldn't have sang it. But that's just it. Here's what I hate. There's situations where we want to blame somebody and nobody could foresee this. For example, the soccer thing. Nobody could foresee 7,000 people trying to jump the gate and going through all that. Like, whoever's fault it is, I don't think you're playing for 7,000 people to just rush the stadium, right? Nobody does. I don't think the people in that arena would have ever, in baseball, would have ever said, okay, in case the artist comes drunk, we're going to have a backup plan.
No, they have backtracks for national anthems all the time.
Well, somebody should have, but I'm just saying that when it gets to that moment, who's ready to? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but someone needs to pull the trigger and say, "Whoa!"
Right.
She's really
That's
drunk.
my point. That's my point. It's one thing to have a contingency plan.
Another thing to pull the trigger on it.
Right. Right.
Right, because then you got to go to her people and say, I don't think you're fit to be singing this national anthem. You should sing.
Her people should have said she can't go out. She got laryngitis.
I would love to know if she did some rehearsals before any of this.
That's a very good point.
How was she doing when she was doing these rehearsals?
Right, that is a good point. So if there were
rehearsals, do a sound check.
100%. You're not going to go out there all willy-nilly.
If you go to a game early, they always have like the national anthem being sung early, right? They usually always do.
So they didn't hear that in the warm-ups? But then
this is what puzzles me. This is why I can't sleep at night.
Was she just that bad? I don't know. A lot of and everybody's like, well, I mean, she's going to rehab. I'm like, you can go to rehab and not have a problem. It could be just PR. So
yeah.
But I mean, if she's that bad of a singer, and I know she's not super famous, but wouldn't we have heard, from other people like, well, I saw her in concert and she wasn't very good. She's a studio singer, like. I've
seen her live on TV shows and stuff like that. And I saw no problem in her voice.
Okay. Did it help her career in the long run? Because there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Exactly. I went on TikTok yesterday. I don't really do that, but I decided to see what the people were saying. And a lot of people were going back to her songs to see if she actually sings bad. And she doesn't.
I mean, I'll be honest.
You're living proof of it. You actually enjoyed some of her songs as you were hearing them.
We played her songs. And I was like, this is not a bad song. This is like, okay, I got it.
I could jam to this.
Yeah.
I'm honest. I know a lot about music, and I had never heard of Ingrid Andress until yesterday morning when I woke up and everybody was going crazy. But now I know her name off the top of my head. And I don't know. Maybe there's no such thing as bad publicity. I don't know if that's the way you want to become famous, but
right.
Let's see. Remember when Fergie had that absolutely terrible rendition at the NBA All-Star game?
People are saying that she can finally go to rest. I gotta say, that is still that performance still haunts me.
I mean, she was doing the whole.
And all love to Fergie because I love Fergie.
She was all hands.
She tried making that her own song. She said, "This is my song, not America's song."
And that's the problem. Think about this: if you treating a national song like your own personal song, then maybe you shouldn't be singing it. Right?
She did too much. But you know what? The confidence in her.
I don't listen.
She has so much confidence.
This is like confidence when them big women wear them little outfits. We don't need that kind of confidence.
They're so fast.
What?
Know your lane.
Yeah, stay in your lane. Listen, we grew up in a place with a lot of big women. So, oh my goodness. Hey, I'm gonna say this, Chuck. San Antonio ain't got nothing on Louisiana.
Yeah, Solana's out at SEC Media Days, and he said that they're rolling out snacks, and he's like, man, these people in the SEC, they don't miss a meal. I said, man, people in the Deep South, it ain't nothing for your mom to be bigger than you.
And Jennifer, every meal starts with a sizzle.
Yeah, it's deep.
Right? You ain't lighting up a grill. Some kind of lard, butter, grease is going on a pan and a pot or whatever. That's how food is getting cooked in Louisiana.
It was nothing.
You ever seen that big can? Let me see. Have you ever seen any of your family members cook and they take out that big can of Crisco? You know what Crisco is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it in use?
No. So my family pulls up masola.
It's nothing to have a huge pot with just grease to the top and just whatever else, dropping chicken in, dropping whatever in.
And let's not forget, Dan, all those jars on the top of your stove with the bacon grease.
Oh yeah, because you want to reuse that.
Save the grease.
It's flavor. It's flavor because every time you use it, it gets more flavor.
Yes. So you might
dig it in there. Oh, it's nasty.
You might cook bacon in the same grease like 3 or 4 times. So then when you cook something, you put that fat and that grease in it for flavor. This is how people cook in Louisiana. This is not made up.
Leroy knows the answer to this.
I'm not judging.
Is it bacon drippings or is it bacon drippings?
Bacon drippings.
I've never heard the G added. It's always bacon drippings.
Don't throw that away.
Yeah, you'd be like, Mama, there's this nasty grease. It's all like coagulating. No. But what are we going to use it for? I'm cooking tomorrow.
And some people put it in the refrigerator because they're going to save it for a while and then get that little white cap on the top.
Yeah, it's got different colors, different
layers.
Oh, healthy.
Dude, then you start your next meal with that grease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And after like the fourth or fifth use, there's so many different flavors in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ate bacon that tasted like ham and
Hey,
whatever else was in the grease.
it is amazing. Or like if you make gumbo, they definitely putting some of that ham, that grease that you cook on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
If you making a roux to make some red beans, everybody know you make a roux. Some people make a roux to make red beans. You make that roux with that bacon fat.
When my mom makes cornbread, she puts bacon grease and bacon drippings in there.
Yeah.
Delicious. Delicious.
Hey, you like it. You know what? There's world records in all of the world. There's Guinness Book of World Records. You know what's a Guinness Book of World Records? Dan Day being that small out of Louisiana.
I know.
That is a world record.
Did not know how that happened at all.
Cat for Life say flavor grease jars for real.
Yeah.
My mama has
My
one.
mama has one.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Go down. I used to get we call it chicharrones here, but cracklins in Louisiana. I used to go down every weekend to the store and buy a bag. And it came
You call them cracklins. We call them pork rinds.
Okay, yeah. They're just different
Pork
names.
rinds.
And we call them chicharrones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Figgy, do you like the chicharrones?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
$50 a month to feed Dan. Dan eats. Y'all just don't know.
I'll eat.
Dan eats. He'll
Dan
eat
eats.
anything.
I'll put it down.
And every time you go home, your mom question whether you've been eating.
Oh God, I give you the hardest time.
That's it. Hey, I couldn't even bring no little girlfriends home.
Mm-mm.
Hey, you been eating?
They backhand compliment the hell out of them.
I said, hey, I told my
You
grandmother
poor
one time.
thing.
I told
You
my
gonna
grandmother
wither
one time.
away.
Hey, I told my grandmother one time. I said, hey, we ain't in Africa. Big women don't mean you rich. That only works in Africa.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, let's do some headlines from the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Coming up at 3:00, the Heat, they continue their summer league trials and tribulations against the Mavericks over there in Vegas. Did you hear that head coach of the summer league team, Dan, is it Bisaccio?
I think so.
Because the CC in Italian is Bisaccio. He's been named the G League affiliate Sioux Falls Skyforce head coach because Cassid Powell has been promoted to Eric Spoelstra's staff.
Okay, cool. All right.
I
That'll
know you
work.
guys-
So he'll be coaching some of the same guys.
Yeah, a lot of the
Yeah.
same guys.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Bronny James airballing shots and just looking a fool in summer league?
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how good he is. He does a lot of standing around. You know who he stands around like Daddy. But Daddy's a Hall of Famer and one of the best to ever do it. If he's standing around, nobody don't make a big deal about it. If you stand around 1 second into the league, we're going to make a big deal about it.
Don't worry. He'll make the team at some point, though. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Other NBA notes, you heard Kyrie Irving underwent hand surgery for a broken hand yesterday that he sustained in practice earlier this month. They hope to have him back in a few months for camp.
Look at that. All my fingers.
You got some messed up hands.
I've had surgery on this one. I'm working on this one right now. This one, I wore the brace. They told me that was the wrong thing to do. But when I went to the doctor on Monday.
That was the wrong thing to do. So were you messing up your fingers more?
Huh?
Were you messing up your fingers more?
No, they just like arthritic, and I keep them moving, and I try to do all the things that I can to, stay active. But sometimes, like, perfect example, when I was in Vegas, and this is how long I've been dealing with this. I was in Vegas, and normally when I get up and go golfing, I get in the jacuzzi and I work my hand, just to get everything going to make sure I don't have those problems. When I was in Vegas, I had it ice cold and I slept with my hands balled up. And when I got up the next morning, this hand wouldn't open up. And I pulled it and it went, and then it was like swollen, and it says trigger finger.
Man.
So yeah, so I do the exercises and stuff, and yeah.
Sports are rough on the hands, the ankles, the feet.
No, the hands as a running back, the hands and the feet.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the ankles, Figgy, if you got it right there, can you show Messi's grapefruit ankle that he got and he sustained in the Copa America final? Because it is not a sprained ankle. That is a grapefruit of an ankle.
Yep.
Needless to say, he's not playing tonight, 7:30
or Saturday.
Or Saturday for Inter Miami, or probably for another month. Let's be honest. Look at that. If you're watching on the YouTube or Twitch, it is legitimately the size of a grapefruit.
The swelling will be gone in a week or two, right? But then it's just a matter of what is actually wrong and what he'll be able to do. So
I hate to say it, but in the past 2 years, Messi has started to show his age a little bit at 37. He's had the hamstrings, he's had the ankles.
Yeah, that's why I say what I say about Jimmy and about Aaron Rodgers. Like, it has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with their will, with their determination and their work ethic. I don't question that. But being over 35 and playing basketball and being over 40 and playing football, whatever position you play, your body sometimes doesn't cooperate.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, which brings up big questions for the Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez Jr. We'll take a break, maybe talk a little bit of Heat and get into some other things next here on the Tobin and Leroy Show. Leroy Hoard has said it many a times. Father Time is undefeated. Now we know Tua Tagovailoa, he had the hip issue. He also had the concussion issues, but he was lucky that he was young. You brought up some of the other guys, maybe further on in their career getting injured. One, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not 100% confident at 40 years old he can come back from an Achilles injury. That much to be proven, I think.
Can we also state the obvious? What has he won in the last 10 years with teams that were better than the team he's currently on?
That is true.
So while we sitting here saying Aaron Rodgers is the savior, what is he savior of? What is he saving? What is he doing? Is he going to make you guys, he's going to put you guys on the map? Absolutely.
Got a good defense too.
Is he going to be a lot better than what you've had? Absolutely.
Well, I watched Zach Wilson struggle last year, especially in person here in Miami.
Right. But again, part of
of
Zach Wilson was he was running for his damn life.
That's true. He didn't have a good time either, though.
Right. So so how's that going to affect Aaron Rodgers?
He's not going to be as mobile as he used to be. We know that.
Right. So
Tom Brady. I want to say Tom Brady's last year, I thought emotionally and physically, he was kind of a shell of himself.
Well, yeah, he was 45. Right.
When did your body start giving out, Leroy? In your opinion? Because, I mean, it's different for everybody. We do know that LeBron
I would
James.
say after my 9th year,
goodness gracious,
the last game of the season was the NFC Championship game. And I hurt my knee during that game. And I couldn't bend my leg fully until June. And I came back and I labored all year, but had a decent year, but I labored. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I mean, I was in so much pain every day playing my 10th year. And so I said, here's what I'm going to do. And I also hurt my shoulder. So I had to have shoulder surgery to repair my rotator cuff, knowing that as soon as I could walk on crutches, I was going to have knee surgery. So I had knee surgery. Had knee surgery as soon as I could. And when July came around, I was still limping. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And that was that. So could I probably play a couple of more years? Absolutely.
Goodness.
But my last recollection of me playing was my 9th, not even my 10th year, my 9th year. I felt so bad for so long. I was like, how much longer am I going to do this? And they begged me, look, just come back. We'll, bring you back slowly. And I was like, no, I'm like, I don't want to ever feel that way. And then when I got done with football, I felt that way for 3 years.
Ooh.
4 years where I couldn't do anything. So I know when it catches up to you, just because you're around the building and you getting the top-notch care, right? You think you're getting better. Then you go play football. And I played a contact position.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I could drop back and just throw the ball and avoid contact. Then you realize that, no, I'm not okay. So, yeah, I would say 9th year, 10th year, probably could have just, put on a mask and stole for a couple of years. But I'm not that guy.
And we always think about the guys in sports that we see hang on a little too long. I know in the NBA, I look at Shaquille O'Neal, those last 2 years.
Yeah, but it's different when you're 7 foot 340. Like, you can labor around and just be the biggest dude out there and just be a bull in a china shop and still have some success. Right? But it got to a point where he couldn't get up and down the court.
Right. Willie Mays, his final year with the New York Mets, that was a little rough.
Yeah. Baseball's the other thing, because you always think that I might not be able to run, but I could hit. And then you realize your bat gets real slow.
Yeah. I'll even say Drew Brees, one of my heroes. His final year, it was painful to watch. He couldn't throw the ball 20 yards down the field.
What about Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning's well, he did win a Super Bowl at least his last year.
He won a Super Bowl, but did you come on.
Vaughn Miller, thank you very much. We're gonna drink some Budweiser after the game.
Come on. Peyton Manning's last year.
Peyton Manning's last year was rough. Yeah.
Right.
It's tough when Drew Brees, they had to sub in Jameis Winston because they were running a flea flicker. And Drew Brees they're like, you can't throw it more than 20 yards down the field.
Right.
And for people in New Orleans, he's the king of New Orleans. He's the hero of New Orleans to even say, yeah, it's time for him to retire. We don't want him back. That means you played your day, your best days.
Right. And I never the thing that I can say is that I made that decision before somebody told me.
Mm-hmm.
They would have told me 3 months later. Like it wasn't, but you got to come to that realization yourself. And for whatever reason now, because of the money or what have you, you lied to yourself. And that's why I tell people all the time. I tell Tobin all the time, dude, father time is no joke. You don't know. It doesn't gradually come up and get you. You don't gradually go through the process of getting old and you go, okay, this is how much I can do now. I can cut back on this. And no, it hit you all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It hit you all of a sudden when I realized that, okay, now I'm limping and it's time to start football again.
Kind of on a different note, but along the same lines, kind of over the past year realized that I can't party as hard as I used to and then be as productive the next day. So if I know I got to come on this show or have a long day, I take it a little lighter the night before.
A little lighter.
So it took me a while to figure it out. It used to be.
What do you consider a little lighter, huh, Dan?
I mean, half of what I normally do. Yeah, exactly. Half of what I normally do. Figgy, did you ever have a point where you couldn't bounce back from long nights out and stuff? Or are you still 100% all the way? You can just get right back.
Oh, she about to reach over and get her beer right now.
No. No.
She's like, I'm still doing it.
No. I want to say maybe after the pandemic.
Okay, because you and I
before that, I used to go all the time. I was always drinking, responsibly.
We've all gone out, figgy groups of us and it's everything like that. And I'll tell you, if you've never been out with JFig, she can party, she can run, she can go. And I'd see her at work the next day and be like, whew. And a lot of people wouldn't be here at work.
Do you guys remember when Lana and her friend, I forgot the other girl, slept in the green room?
Yeah, that's how we used to roll.
Just sleep in the green room.
I think at one point I went out with them once and they did that, but I went home and I came back. I was just like, what are you guys doing?
Multiple times I've opened the green room door, either coming back from like late night work or early in the morning, and I see a hand reaching out. I'm like, oh God. Yeah. Oh! Gotta do what you gotta do though. But yeah, now I realize now.
Yeah, but now I take it easy now.
I do.
I've never
every now and then I'll have one of those nights, but no.
I've never been a heavy drinker, so I don't really, but I will say this. I used to go out on South Beach, come home, take a shower, and go golfing.
Yeah.
Yep. And get home at 12 o'clock and then sleep. But if somebody even suggested that now, I'll be like, I got to golf in the morning. What time we going to eat? 8 o'clock? No. That's no. The dinner time is 6 now. Dinner time is 6, and I get there, and I'm thinking, all right, I usually have one drink. I have one drink with my meal, unless I'm gonna tie my feed bag on, and then I don't want. Then it's lemonade.
Yeah,
lemonade, water. So yeah, I don't. No, I know guys
friends that if you contact them to go out before 8, they think it's way too early.
I used to take a nap.
I have another group of friends that if you even suggest going out past 9, they're like, no way. No.
I used to take a nap. I used to go golfing on Saturday, right? Come home, do whatever I had to do, relax, get some food, take a nap, get up at 10 to go out.
Yep. Not so much
Yep.
anymore.
Because the clubs don't start crack-a-lack until 12
Midnight.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you got to go over to space.
Yeah. Or 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
Start hurting me right
More
now.
of a lounger. I like going to bars,
I agree.
lounges, stuff
Lounger.
like that.
You go
Yeah.
to South Beach, you ain't lounging.
I don't want to go to South Beach.
But I'm saying that was back in
You
the
won't
day.
find me there.
Like now, where if I had to go, I'm sorry, I haven't been to a club. I bet you I haven't been in a club in 15 years.
Okay. You're welcome
Right?
back. If you ever want to go, I'll roll with.
I'll go with you if you ever go. Yeah.
I didn't even go because I remember when I took Fonz to Vegas for graduating, right? They went and who I want to say there was a rapper that was in the hotel we were in and he was performing. And all of the NBA players were there from the because it was All-Star weekend. So I ran into Ty Lue and I knew him from Cleveland. And so they went to Lil Jon. Lil Jon was there at Aria. Right? So they went and I was like, hey, what time y'all get in? He said, you called us at 8 for breakfast and we were just coming in. And I was like,
That's too much.
No, player, that ain't happening.
Well, I had not really a run-in with a celebrity, but kind of a celebrity moment this past weekend. We're going to close out the show next. I'll tell you about it on Tobin and Leroy. Let's get the silly sauce going. Today is National Hot Dog Day. So to Leroy and JFig, I want to know what's the best way to prepare and dress, as we say, Leroy, a hot dog.
That's what it means in Louisiana. We don't say,
Top.
call it dressed.
Yeah, you dress
That's
it.
what
You
you
dress a
wanna
hot
dress.
dog, you dress a hamburger, you dress your sandwich.
So here's
what's
what
the
I
best way to
do.
Prepare it and dress it, though. I need the
I
whole
go
match.
hot dog, chili, cheese.
But how are you doing the hot dog? Is it grilled? Is it
I boil it and then put it on the grill.
Boil it, put it on the grill. Okay, and then what do you do?
Then I go, you gotta toast the bun because you need it to hold the chili. If you put chili on the hot dog without a toasted bun, the bun gets all soggy.
I've made that
I
mistake.
like toasted buns.
Toasted bun. You like toasted buns, JV?
What was that?
You know what? I was
you
hoping you didn't hear that.
you tried to catch
because you would find a way to make fun of me there, but I do like when the bun is toasted. Okay.
Right. So and then you put the hot dog. Now, here's a boss move. I'm gonna tell you what you do. You put the cheese on first. Then you put the hot dog and then the chili. Right. And then I go like they have this thing, the spicy onions. The spicy white onions, and you can get sweet like red onions. I put that on there, or relish, right? Or sometimes I go jalapenos, just depending on how I'm feeling, right? And then I go mustard ketchup.
Mustard ketchup. What was that
And
monster
somehow
dog?
you have a problem with tacos having too much. I don't understand you.
That was the thing. What was that monster dog you made on the 4th of July?
Oh, that's
what showed me. And there was a lot going on. It looked fantastic, but there was a lot going on.
It was chili, cheese, onions, and ketchup mustard. Yeah.
Lizzie. So Figgy, what's the best way to prepare and dress a hot dog in your opinion?
Look, I'm a very simple person.
You better not eat it like a toddler.
Like what?
Go.
I can go as simple as ketchup and mustard on it.
Now,
with a toasted bun, of course.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When in the hell on God's green earth did yellow mustard become special? Because now if you get a hot dog and you get mustard, you get that brown mustard. And that used to be the special mustard. Now, if you want yellow mustard, you have to ask for it.
I don't know.
I like that special Dijon and all
Remember
that
the
other
Grey
stuff.
Poupon commercials?
Oh yeah.
Do you have the mustard?
Pardon moi. Do you have any Grey Poupon? But of course. Just roll off. Oh man. I usually just get a broiled hot dog. I put it on a normal just bun, and then I put sauerkraut. Oh, I put mayo, sauerkraut, and salt and pepper. But I got that from Wisconsin when I lived there. You were up in Michigan, so you're kind of in that area.
They do mayo. You know who else does mayo? The English love mayo on everything.
Well, you know me, I like to sandwich just straight up. Mayonnaise in the middle. Mayonnaise and bread.
And you wonder why.
Oh, let's get going from the lower end meal of a hot dog to my high end meal the other night. I don't know. I found out that Baboni, he is part owner of a restaurant here in Miami called Gecko. It's in Brickell.
Yeah.
So I was on the air talking about it, and I was like, ooh, let me see if I can even get a reservation, or if it's so exclusive that I can't. Now, I'm on a computer that I've used Open Table before, and I accidentally made a reservation last Saturday night, 7:00. No big deal, right? Except right as you make the reservation, something pops up and says $25 fee for no show. So guess who went to Gecko in Brickell this past Saturday at 7:00?
How was that?
It was cool. Now it's a Japanese steakhouse. You would think Baboni, it would be something different. No, Japanese steakhouse. But Leroy, how does this sound for someone from the South? I would rather spend $200 on a meal and get food than just have to eat $25 of not showing up.
Yep, that's it.
They go like, well, you spent more money. You could have just, eaten the $25. Nope.
Not giving free money away.
Not giving away money. I'd rather go. I went in there. It was nice. Viggy, it's a great atmosphere. It's fun. It's cool. I did not see Bad Bunny. They didn't even play Bad Bunny's music. It was a lot of hip hop music downtown. I was kind of confused. Food was really good, though. I will give it credit for it. And it was a little expensive, as you'd expect, but I was not giving up that $25. So, Gecko, if you accidentally make a reservation, thumbs up.
What did you eat?
They had some plant-based chicken rice, and they had some salads and stuff like that.
What?
You went to you
don't
for
eat
a salad
meat.
over there?
I don't eat a lot of meat.
A lot, but you can't go to a steakhouse and not eat meat.
Well, I didn't plan it out like that, Leroy. I accidentally hit make reservation, and I got a reservation made for 7:00 on Saturday. And I went. It's fun. Brickell's a mess, though. There's people everywhere. There's traffic. There's no parking. I made it through.
Was it very packed on Saturday?
It was pretty full.
The restaurant?
The restaurant, yeah, it's pretty full. It's a vibe. It's just music. People sitting around CBCing, birthday parties. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I would go back purposely though next time.
Purposely?
Yeah, I'm not going to a steakhouse and not eating steak.
Well, yeah, that's probably the best way to go. Sushi, and if it's a Japanese steakhouse.
Do you like sushi?
I love sushi.
Yeah, I'm not a sushi guy.
Really?
Here's the kicker. It's hard to like sushi if you don't like salmon.
Okay.
I don't like salmon.
No, salmon gets me sick. Even when I was a kid and I'd eat it, I'd throw up.
I think we don't have salmon in New Orleans.
Yeah, the first time I had it, I got sick, and then I got another time and I got sick, so I kind of laid off
because it's fatty. It's like.
Do you like salmon?
It's a hit or miss for me.
Some people love it.
My family loves it.
Oh, really?
So whenever we have like my mother-in-law cook salmon, then I know that I'm on my own that night. I just won't even. I've tried, just can't even like just.
I also have a very limited palate for sushi.
I'm like Marcos with the seafood.
Oh, you make fun of it?
No, I love seafood. I just don't like salmon.
Yeah, salmon's rough for me. But you give me a fried.
I don't like tuna either.
I can do tuna.
I feel like that's also a hit or miss.
Right. Tuna is one of those like a red fish, like like almost like a steak, right? Like tuna, you eat it like a steak. And I'm black. It's something about uncooked stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Weird. If something is uncooked, I get uncomfortable around it.
It's weird.
Right? Like
I get scared to eat it.
You take your fork and you flip it and you go. And then they put with tuna, they put this nice little crunch on the outside, right? It looks all, and then and then it's like red. But even when I get steak, I get it medium. I don't get it medium rare. I get medium. Yeah. You got to get it medium because it stays soft.
Yeah, you get a little bit of cook and you get a little bit of flavor in there.
Now, I tell you what, sea bass, sea bass. I can cook the hell out of sea bass. It's hard to cook though, because if you don't cook it right, it falls apart.
Okay. So next time I need sea bass or glizzy, I'm hollering at you, Leroy. Thank you guys so much for spending time with us today. I'm guessing Marcos will be back tomorrow. I think Tobin is still on vacation. If he needs me, just call me. For Leroy, I'm sorry, not Tobin. For Leroy, for JFig, I am Dan Day. This has been the Tobin and Leroy Show on 560 WQAM.